Okay, everybody. Good afternoon. Had a busy day today. Had to go do laundry, and I took Chico to the park. Really warm today. It's supposed to rain tomorrow or tonight.
Now we're joined in studio by Jonathan Cho, also a member of the.
So, happy Friday. I guess it's Good Friday today. I didn't know that. Happy Good Friday to everybody. I'll sit here a little bit. Oh, five showing. Nobody in chat yet.
Okay, this is not
political, so don't make those comments.
Well, where's everybody at? Hey, Ed, you're the first one in chat. You get a star today. I had a busy day today. I had to go do laundry, and I took Chico out. It was a warm day today. They took my time off. They're not showing it no more. Huh. All right. I'll do a prayer real quick. Afternoon, God. We're here today on Good Friday, and kids losing their father at any time. We'll be up there with you, and please pray and put your hand down on family, and hope they'll make it through. I'm still, I lost my mom, dad, my stepdad, my real dad. My mom was the hardest, but she has a channel to come to. We're playing get prayers and everything, so put your hand down, angel around family. Thank you. And also to add, God, we need this movie to end. People are suffering too much, and we don't know. A lot of people are giving up, and I'm trying to stay on as long as I can. I was the chosen one for you to get all this intel out. Just wish something would happen, God, in your hands. Just prayers out to everybody, military, And, how to end this movie, God, is up to you. We're ready. We've been waiting too long, and people are hurting. And we're on the name, amen. Hey, Gay. Took him to the park. I don't know if that video went through to you when I texted you this morning. I took him for a little ride today. I think it's going to rain tonight. Okay. Good. Watching the Tigers play their home opener right now. First game at home, 1-3-0. But tomorrow night's the big night, 8:30 tomorrow night. So tomorrow I'm going to be try to get everything done by 7 o'clock. So get ready for the big game tomorrow. Okay, so I don't know where everybody's at. We got 9 showing. I'm going to go ahead and get started with the show here. So, okay, I got 2 of the YouTube lady that came out. I don't know if you can check them out. I got one for sure I'll share, but I think they're both good. And I got 5 Trish videos because they're short. They're short. They're short ones. They're only like 6 minutes, 8 minutes. So no big video so far today. Just the basic. Yep, welcome, man. I do have short clips of America and the press secretary. They're short little clips. And then I got 3 short clips with Nick Shirley at Turning Point USA this afternoon. It looks like Cash just came out with one. So we will get started here. All right. Hopefully we'll get everybody in here. Well, the first Trish video.
Good life, price for real.
Pam Bondi had to
This
go
is,
at this moment
14
in time,
minutes.
in part because of the seriousness of what we're looking at. It's not just that she dropped the ball on Comey and Letitia. Letitia could come back, by the way. I would encourage them to actually move forward with another indictment on that one, because let's let the dust settle. Let's get a new head of the DOJ in there, and then that new attorney general can work with that office in Virginia to bring forward another indictment for one Letitia James. I don't think that that's completely put to bed. But the other thing that's out there and outstanding right now is Ilhan Omar, and Ilhan Omar is alleged to have been involved perhaps in some kind of money laundering operation with the $250 million for Feeding Our Future that just was stolen. I mean, there's no other way to explain that one other than it was stolen. And we've seen now in recent reports that some of these people are getting off. One of the people just this week got off with only 6 months in jail. Another person getting off with only a year in jail. And I think we're all looking at this with suspicion. The judge that actually let these people off with 6 months and a year
So hopefully we'll
is
get
a judge
some
that was appointed by a Democrat. And so I think you don't have much of a choice right now than to play hardball. The Dems play hardball. Look at what they indicted him over and over and over and over again, right? They went after Donald Trump with everything they could. They tried to bankrupt him. Letitia James tried to bankrupt him. And you're going to sit there and pussyfoot around and not turn in your homework on time and allow for the statute of limitations to expire? I don't think so. We're in the big leagues, okay? And when someone's stealing what we believe that they may have stolen, when you've got a whole operation going on, apparently coast to coast, with money laundering for everything from daycares to hospices to food programs, and we're talking billions of dollars, then you know what? You can't have your B team. You got to get rid of the B team and put the A team in. Otherwise, the B team is going to allow for these schmoes to continue robbing us blind. Again, just allegations thus far that Ilhan Omar had something to do with it, but I imagine right now in Ilhan and Timmy Mynette's household, they are pretty damn scared. You know why? They know someone's coming in that's going to get to the bottom of it. Yeah, that's why she was sounding so all scared over the weekend, right? Oh, this is good.
I could have never imagined the day would come when we were staring down at this kind of creeping authoritarianism.
Woo!
Strange, to say the least.
In the United States of America, we pledge allegiance to the Constitution and the flag.
That doesn't make sense.
Because in Minnesota, we are built different.
Oh, they are.
Operation Metro Surge was just the tip of the iceberg.
I'm sorry. It's not right to laugh, right? I shouldn't laugh. I mean, it was funny when I saw it, but you know what? I'm in a state today and I'm not in a laughing mood because, you know, and it's fine. You know, she can't speak English, whatever. Maybe we shouldn't laugh at that. But right now, I think we've got to figure out what role she played in all of this. And we got a couple things going on. We got the immigration stuff. And that's going to take a lot more than one Pam Bondi. I mean, I said it, you know, Harmeet. I mean, put Harmeet in, although, you know, Harmeet, who's running the Civil Rights Division, Harmeet Dillon has come out and confirmed to us that, in fact, yes, they are investigating her citizenship. But where is it going? That's not even Harmeet's division, by the way. That's somebody else's division. She's in civil rights, but she's like, yeah, I can confirm that this is. And then we heard from the vice president who fully confirmed. He said, yes, we know that she committed immigration fraud. Okay, so what's Pammy baby doing about it? Pammy's doing nothing. Okay, Pammy's going on Fox and pretending she's doing something. I don't want any more pretenders. I don't want any more TV people. I love TV people. I'm one of them. But you know what? I don't need a TV person running my DOJ. So Ilhan and this fraud ring, I mean, there's some serious suspicions about all of this and the $700 million that left the Minneapolis airport in suitcases, in cash, and made its way to Somalia and Dubai and Kenya and a few other places along the way. We need to get to the bottom of that. And once we get to the bottom of that, who's going to prosecute it? I don't think you can trust Pammy to do it. So this is what the president's realizing. We need the A-team because there's a lot coming forward.
Join Planet Fitness
Right
for
on
1 cent
that.
down, $15 a month. No
This is a good
commitment.
one.
Deal ends Friday, April 10th.
Lather, rinse, repeat. It never feels like enough. It's not your products, it's your water.
She always has.
I'm
good
worried about
stuff.
the immigration fraud. I'm also worried about what did Ilhan Omar know about what was happening in the Somali community, and why was nobody looking into it until, frankly, Donald Trump came along?
Yeah. Right? Again, Pam, where were you on that one, too? I mean, we had to wait for Nick Shirley to go out and do something over Christmas, for goodness sakes. Enough, right? So this is now getting sophisticated, and this is getting a little more challenging, which means, therefore, it's a little bit out of one Pam Bondi's wheelhouse. And so we need somebody smarter. Again, Lee Zeldin might be the guy. He might be the pick. He might be able to do the job. I've made suggestions, of course, about Janine Pirro. I don't know if this is necessarily her forte with money laundering, but we need somebody who at least can manage those for whom it is a forte. And we need somebody who can make sure that it's getting done. All right, just getting done. And I see Peace of My Mind is laughing at me. It's like, yeah, you can tell Trisha's kids, do your homework, right? But I got two of them that are fantastic. They turn their homework in like ahead of schedule. And then I got one that I got to ride a little bit. All right. So if it sounds like I've said this before, I have. All right. And the one that I got to ride a little bit, she's brilliant. But you know what? I'm like, you got to create a system. You got to create a system because you cannot let little things go. In the real world, those little things add up and those little things will cost you big. All right. So Pam, I don't think you're brilliant, but I do think you let the little things go, and it cost the country as a result. And now we got the big kahuna. Okay. We got Ilhan Omar that is believed to have been making out like a bandit. I mean, I'm not just talking about the money she was paying her husband. Who the heck pays their campaign manager nearly $3 million? No one. Okay. No one. That's why it was front page news when the New York Times found out that Biden was going to pay his campaign manager $4 million if he won. I mean, he wasn't getting that unless they actually got him to the finish line, which one might argue he deserved, right? If you had gotten Joe Biden to win, like $4 million might have been in order, but that's outrageous. It's not even heard of. So you think a little teeny little Minneapolis campaign is paying $3 million to the campaign manager? Short answer, no. That's a complete ethics violation, especially when the campaign manager just happens to be your hubby. You know, he got a big pay raise after they got married, right? He went from making maybe like $300-400 and change, which is a lot even for that job. It's a lot. But that's when he was the BF. I mean, when he went to the hubby, he got a big upgrade and suddenly he's making nearly $3 million. But you know what? That means she's making $3 million. She's putting nearly $3 million right in her own pocket. It's wrong, okay? So you donate to Ilhan Omar's campaign, and you're really donating to Ilhan Omar's bank account. And it's believed it went so much further than that. And this is why the probe has gone international to Kenya, which has crazy, ridiculous, easy banking laws, to Somalia, to Dubai. I will say this. It's not hard to get any information that we need on any of these guys because we are still the world's hegemonic power that controls King Dollar. And so all these banks at some point have to do transactions with us if they actually want to be transacting in dollars, which if you're a bank, you need to transact in at some point along the way, which means, yeah, they're going to turn it over. She's an American citizen, at least for now. Her husband is an American citizen. They have to turn all this information over. And so this is coming in the door too. And you can't have people leaking. You can't have people, I mean, again, I've heard a lot of things about her in the Epstein files and the way she was leaking. And I've heard a lot of things about, you know, remember Dan Bongino? Very good source tells me Dan was like, it's me or her. I don't want to deal with this woman. Think about that, okay? And there was talk that Cash was going to leave as well. They don't want to deal with a woman who's leaking. They don't want to deal with a woman who's stupid. They don't want to deal with a man, by the way, who's stupid or leaking either. Okay. So this is not a male female thing for those that want to make it that. I'm just saying she's not good at her job. And so now the job is getting harder and harder and harder. And so you want somebody that is going to be able to literally follow the money. Lee Zeldin, I hope you're the guy. And I hope you can get to the bottom of this, because I care passionately that we see justice for Ilhan Omar, for Letitia James. I realize that ship has sailed on James Comey, but let's fix the rest of it. What about Stacey Abrams and whatever she did or did not do? Let's find out. So this thing is now international. And as you well know, Ilhan Omar has gone from negative $50,000 in the span of, 16 months to $30 million. And that is not making any sense to me. So now you need good people that can go after what is believed to be an entirely money laundering operation. And when I tell you this is the big leagues, I mean it, because look at what you're up against. You're up against a woman with a crazed version of TDS.
But we are here because Donald Trump just has not chipped away at our democracy. He has taken a wrecking ball to the very foundation of what makes America great. He has tried to intimidate Minnesotans. He has tried to make us afraid. He has tried to divide us. But we stood strong. We have had each other's back, and we have never bent the knee. Because in Minnesota, we are built different. We do not cower to bullies.
Like what?
We are Minnesota strong.
Don't wait until it's too late.
Wonder what they mean by
Schedule
that.
your free roof inspection with Mills Siding and Roofing.
I wanted the word cuppa, as in cup of tea. I thought it would be great to mix with hug. When I saw the domain was available.
Okay. So
Not over.
the pressure's on. And you know what? It's gonna get good. It's gonna get good because they got up to 30% in rewards. You if you watch this show, you know this. But for those of you that are new to the Trish Regan show and you've just found out that Pam Bondi's out and you're listening to me go on about why this is so important right now, think about this. They're getting all these informants that are coming in the door because, as Besson said, the rats will rat out each other.
It's very exciting. I think it's up to 10 to 30 exciting. I think it's going to be a great way to ferret out waste, fraud, and abuse, starting in Minneapolis, which has been ground zero. So we are encouraging whistleblowers who know about fraud, people who are stealing from the American taxpayer, to come forward. At Treasury, we're setting up a website, and we will be giving rewards up to 10 to 30% of the fines that we levy.
There you go. So they've got a lot of people coming forward as we speak. You've got Comer targeting California as well as Minnesota. You've got Treasury targeting California, Minnesota, and other places where you're seeing this fraud. Massachusetts is in there too. And so as a result of this, you're going to need people that you can trust. And if somebody like Pam Bondi was possibly leaking to Eric Swalwell about the Fang Fang files, you understand what's coming up now is that the FBI is saying, I can't trust Pam. And by the way, that's not new. This is why sources tell me Bongino said, you know what, to H-E-double-L with this, because you've got to know that the FBI and DOJ have to be able to work together on this stuff. And it wasn't happening that way, not happening that way at all. So at this moment in time, we know Pam Bondi's out. We also know Donald Trump wants out of NATO.
Okay, that's the first Trish video today. That was a good, important one again. I got the next 3 short clips of Dick Shirley at Turning Point today. 6 minutes on the first one.
Welcome. Thank you for coming out.
Yeah, I'm super happy to be here.
All right. I was saying just before we got in that we already owe him a lot. He did force us to abandon an initiative we were planning to launch. We can't launch Leering Point USA anymore. We had to look for a new name for that one, but I think it's all worth it.
Yeah, it would be a real shame if the kids couldn't leer anymore, but
yeah. Well, welcome out here, and I think just to start off, I was looking at some of your more recent tweets, and obviously you're known for your documentary stuff, your investigative work, but you had a normal post just the other day, and I want to read it because I think it really speaks to the influence that I know Charlie has had on you and a lot of other people. So let me bring it up here. And what you said was, the more time I spend on X and around politics, I realize how easy it is for people to complain. Very few people actually do the thing. I would much rather actively be trying to do something than just complaining without bringing a solution. And I know that is very much something that Charlie would say all the time. He was all about being the change that you seek in the world. So I know you're also iconic for being one of the final guests on our show before the tragedy that happened in Utah. So can you just tell us a bit about the impact Charlie had on your life and outlook?
yeah, I had a lot of respect for Charlie because of what he's done. And every time I'd go to like AmFest or even coming here today to see what he has built and the people that he's been able to attract around him speaks to the person he was. And the reason I made that post is because I'm going out doing so much, and people like Charlie did so much, and it's so easy for us to go out and do so much and to actually go to the place, talk about it, put our money where our mouth is. And then there's so many people who just want to complain and attack the people that are actually doing the doing. And so, yeah, sometimes I get kind of fed up when I get on the internet and I see people always just like complaining without ever bringing any solution. And so right before I tweeted that, I had seen that Gavin Newsom was blaming Trump for his disaster of a state of California. And I said, how are you supposed to blame Trump for this when you're the one who's pushed all the billionaires out of your state? You let $24 billion go unaccounted for, and you're complaining about taxes, but he has the highest tax on gas in the United States. And so, but all that's Trump's fault. And so I was saying, well, you're the governor, like take ownership. And I think Charlie's a perfect example of somebody who takes ownership and he sees a problem, he would actually go and do something about it. I mean, he dedicated his whole entire life to helping make America great and making America a better place to live. And so me and myself, I want to do the same thing, whether it's going and doing these videos and showing people and highlighting what's actually happening and bringing a solution to some of these problems. People say, well, Nick, you're complaining by making that tweet. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm telling you guys what's happening. And then I have actually post a video every single week to show you what's going on. That's why you guys are actually interacting with me, because I'm creating these conversations.
Exactly. And I think it's very common to run into people who say, I'd love to help out once I have the right job or once I've finished the right program, once I've moved to the right town. But I think you've shown exactly what is possible, which is you can basically take a smartphone and go to the right spot and ask the right questions and get 150 million views on X. So I think that is the next natural question. I know there's a lot of people a lot like you who are in their late teens, early 20s. They love to ask that general question, how can I do what you do? And so let's imagine there's someone out here in Phoenix or in a town like Los Angeles, and they've seen, it seems there's a lot of fraud out there. It seems like there's a lot of waste. It seems like there's a lot of corruption. They have a smartphone. What should they do next to take action?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is going into the location, going to the source. A lot of people don't want to go to the source of where
no one wants to go outside.
Nobody wants to go outside. So if you're angry about your governor, you're angry about the Leering Center in your neighborhood, maybe go to the place and do your research and say, okay, let's go see if I can talk to the person and have those conversations to actually see what's happening.
I will admit, when I was driving up here, I did pass by a place that was prominently labeled as a Phoenix Autism Center, and it did enter my mind. Oh, is that one of those? And I don't know about that one. It might be legitimate, but
people, if they start going around your towns and you notice there's like these learning centers or these autism centers, you're going to realize there's no cars in the parking lot, and every time you drive by them, there's actually no cars there. So this is like a whole fraud system that's in every state in the United States. But going back to your question about what someone could actually do if they want to do something, well, I think you have to go do the doing, obviously, but you have to go to the source, and you have to be not afraid to speak on things for what they are. I think nowadays a lot of things that actually aren't controversial are becoming controversial, like the topic of fraud. I think it should not be controversial that fraud is bad no matter who's committing it. The fact that men are in girl sports, they were born with a whole different thing. You know what I mean? So how's that even controversial? Or the fact that people get mad that we deport illegal migrants, the word's illegal. And so a lot of controversial things are becoming, a lot of things that aren't controversial are becoming controversial. So you have to have the courage to speak on the non-controversial issues that have now become controversial and say them for what they are.
So true, so true.
Hey, that was the first clip.
Look them up on Google Maps and start just going to each one, or
Second clip is 11
It's a little
minutes.
bit more complicated than that. You got to do your research. So I had known about that fraud in Minnesota since last June, for instance. I had been gathering information on it. And then the man in the video, David.
How did that unfold? Like, you just went there and people were telling you about it?
Yeah,
or?
I went and did a video
This
in
is a good,
last June about the
and
rise of
really,
Islam
I
and the
think-
Somali population inside Minnesota because people were telling me about it. And then all the Minnesotans were like, finally, someone's here to make a video about the fraud. I said, what fraud? And one lady called me for 2 hours. I got stuck in a gas station parking lot for 2 hours talking to this lady, and she would not hang up. I'm like, okay, but do you know about this one? I'm like, okay, thank you very much. And then she kept going. And then the next day she planned a bunch of people for me to interview, and they all backed out because they were too scared to speak out against the fraud. And so I was like, okay, well, there's something here. I had known about it. And then the man, David, who had been gathering information for years because they didn't want to release the money numbers to the public. And a lot of these places won't. Like, for instance, if you try to get the auditing for California, let's just say, like, I think the only one I could find was from 2023. They don't even want to give you from 2024 because then people could go and do these investigations. And actually, right now, they're like taking down parts of their website to help you filter and search throughout stuff. In Minnesota, that same exact thing when I did the video on the fraud. Like, they literally crashed down the website, like at the heat of it, to try and hide the fraud.
Have you faced any other backlash from the left? Have they threatened you with lawsuits? Have they tried to basically tell you you're not allowed to do this?
No, because what I'm doing is true. Like, I'm going after, like, what are they going to sue me for? Calling out the Learning Center?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Learning Center literally packed up their bags and left.
I have to say, I really admire, as a guy who was a journalist myself, anyone who has like an explicit scalp, so to speak, someone they took down. And I think you have, to your credit, you took down, I think, the politician I think I might personally detest more than anyone else as a guy who's from the Midwest. I really don't like Tim Walz. He's the exact type of person that I just really don't like as a Democrat. How does it feel to have that to your credit, I think?
It's a nice trophy to have.
Do you get emails? Do
Really
people from
get
Minnesota
crowd
contact
going.
you and say, like, thank you, you've liberated us until the next Democrat takes office?
Yes, people were very, very happy that Tim Walz decided to step down. And that also just goes and proves that what I was doing was true and correct, because why would he step down if there actually wasn't anything to be hiding from? And so that was one of my favorite things when he started calling me like he called me like a far right conspiracy theorist, and then he called me a delusional far right conspiracy theorist, and then he said I was what he say? He said a lot of things, but I think he said like racist, like he called us like all racist or whatnot for going after the fraud, and that's the reason why people were not able to speak out or too afraid to speak out, because your governor would then call you racist or a delusional conspiracy theorist for speaking out against the thing that made him drop out of re-election.
sort of a how it started, how it's going sort of thing for him. And
yeah, it's a bad hill to die on.
I imagine you get this question a lot, but I figure I'll get ahead of the audience here. What's next? You've got your sweatshirt that says, "Where did my tax dollars go?" Where do you next want to see where it's going?
Yeah. So after the Minnesota video, I got a lot of death threats because I literally took down like $1 billion enterprise that was taking place. And so people get killed over millions of dollars. Billions of dollars is a little bit more risky to even expose. So after I did that, I did a video on California fraud, the voting fraud, and just how easy it is for people to vote. So I said, okay, maybe I'll get a little less death threats. But this week I'm coming back out exposing millions and maybe billions of dollars in California. So now I'm ready for even more.
Can you tell us what the industry is this time, or any preview you can give us, or is that a secret?
Well, if you look at California, their budgets that keep going up for their thing called Medi-Cal, every year it goes up by the billions. There's not millions more people coming in, so it has something to do with that.
Just goes up every year?
Yeah, like it literally goes up exponentially every single year, like literally billions of dollars.
Yeah, if I could have a recommendation, I was reading about this myself. So New York and Florida have pretty similar populations. And in fact, Florida overtook New York thanks to COVID. And Florida is pretty famous for having a lot of older people there. They like to retire there. New York spends 3 times as much on Medicaid
Just New
as
York
Florida
City,
does.
I think.
Yeah.
Like New York City alone.
Mm-hmm.
Which is crazy. And I think like you're seeing in these Democrat cities that charge the most in taxes, but then their quality of living is actually the worst and they have the most amount. Like they're always in debt. Like most states are in debt, but these states are always like talking about, oh, we need this much more, we need to tax this much more. And I think if they were actually taxed less, it would incentivize businesses to actually run profitable businesses versus relying on the government, which would actually help eliminate a lot of their waste in their debt, because they're always trying to tax more, and then yet they just raise their budgets by the billions. And if they were to have more of a competitive way of doing business, they wouldn't have to be so reliant upon the government. And I'm not like some genius or anything, but I think that just makes sense. Like if you're going to open a business, before you do it, figure out how to make it profitable.
Exactly. Novel idea. Or I guess you can just get taxpayers to pay for it every single time.
Exactly. And that's the problem in all these states is they just want to rely upon the government. Let's raise taxes. But then they're actually never making money. Like the only money they're making is from us, but not from the person who's buying their product or the service they're providing. A lot of these places don't actually provide the service.
How did you originally get started on this? What was the first video you made that made you think, like, I'm going to be a guy who makes political videos for?
Well, the first one, it's funny because Congressman Biggs was here. I had been to AmFest in 2023. I saw some things saying, oh, Patriots are going to be uniting here at Phoenix, Arizona. I was like, oh, this will be a good time to go interview some like redneck hillbillies. Like maybe this will be interesting to go talk to some people. And then I got there and I was like, oh, all these people are so cool. Like they're just here because they want the best for America. And
were you more towards the center or even on the left then, or?
No, I was a Trump. I've always liked Trump. Like I remember watching The Apprentice with my grandpa. I was like, so I always liked, but I thought like AmFest, like, oh, this is like some place where the rednecks are coming and we're all going to join in, like have a big old MAGA party. And I was like, okay, this will be some funny interviews, I guess. And then I get there, I'm like, yeah, these people are all cool. And then I start hearing about the border. And my mom had been talking about the border for a long time because I was on a mission trip for our church. So for 2 years, I was pretty much not like, I wasn't really paying attention much to the news. And then I learned Spanish on that mission trip. And then I talked to everyone at AmFest and like, oh, the border's really bad. And so I went down to the border all by myself and I had no idea what's going on. I set up a tripod and I started interviewing people as they're coming across the border.
Did you tell your mom about this before you did that?
Yeah, I just told them like, hey, I'm just going to spend one more day in Phoenix. And
Can you tell me again how a CBT Nugget subscription actually saves me money?
Your subscription gives you
So I go down there, and so this is answering your question about how I kind of got into this, seeing this corruption. And so I get down there, and all these migrants are like celebrating coming across the border. I'm like in my car, I'm like, oh my gosh, these people are coming across. Like, why? I'm like, wait, why aren't they running? And then I get over there, and they're like celebrating. They're like hopping in camera. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And since I could speak Spanish to them, they start telling me everything. And then I'm like, oh wow, this is going to be like a very interesting video. And then 10 minutes later, Congressman Biggs drives by with some other guy. They're like, you guys know, who are you out? What are you doing? Don't you know there's a cartel war on the other side? I'm like, what? And there was like an active cartel war going on the other side. But meanwhile, these migrants are like celebrating. I'm like giving them like food. I'm like, are you guys starving? Like, you guys been walking for a while. Meanwhile, they had just been like trafficked over by the cartel, and they were going to go hop in the van to then get put into a detention, I don't even think that you call it a detention facility here. And then that
Welcome
same night,
facility, probably, I bet.
Yeah, like a welcome facility. And then that same day, I got one of the lady's phone numbers, like, okay, well, I want to make sure you're all right. And then the next day, she's somehow in New York City. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? And so that kind of just started this snowball of me like tracking down the migrant crisis and seeing like government corruption.
Hope you guys are enjoying Blake's conversation with Nick.
Okay, one more clip, you guys. This is a real good interview. Eight minutes on this one. Last clip.
So I started just to see how like corrupt things were. And then once you see how corrupt one side of it is, and it just happens to be most of the corruption's happening from the Democrats. And so then I just kept going to more and more places, and it just unraveled itself into what it is now.
Did you know the president was going to shout out your work during the State of the Union?
That was pretty cool. The Somali fraudsters, the pirates, yeah, they definitely had it coming for them. It's funny. I actually was like hoping I was going to see Ilhan Omar there, and so I got invited to the State of the Union, and they put Ilhan Omar's guest right behind me, and so I'm like looking just down at the chamber, and then I hear some Somalian language, and I look back, and it's Ilhan Omar, and yeah, I really wanted to say hi to her, but I don't think she wanted to say hi back.
All right.
Nobody knows that. I haven't told that story before yet. But I was like super eager to say hi to her, but
it's good.
Yeah, I don't think she wanted to say hi.
Would that be like the white whale investigation if you could finally get 100% to the bottom of the whole brother thing?
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, I think it's already confirmed that she did marry her brother.
Pretty much. I think it's pretty likely at this point, but
very likely. I think if she got deported, that would be like the biggest like W out of this whole entire thing. I really do think a lot of people want to see that happen as well, because at the State of the Union, for instance, this was the most telling thing of the whole entire thing for me, because I'm sitting on the top of the chamber, all the congressmen, congresswomen are down there, and there's only really one topic where everybody stood up about, and that was about condemning political violence when they mentioned Charlie Kirk. And there's only her, and I think one other person didn't stand up. So even the rest of the Democrats stood up, but she wouldn't. And so that was very telling about the true person she is, if she's not even able to condemn political violence. In fact, she actually incites it. After her fraud's exposed, she goes and tells everyone to go protest. And so she is very not much a benefit for this country. Like, she's not a benefit at all.
All right. Well, I saw what a celebrity you are with all of the people here. Certainly more so than me. Probably because you have a much better hairline than me, I'm sure. But I want to give him a chance to ask a few questions to you.
Of course.
So, what do we have here?
Right over here, Blake.
Just raise your hand if you have anything, and we'll get the mic to you.
Yeah. Obviously, thanks for being here, Nick. Question: you've got a lot of supporters in this room, a lot of influential supporters. How can we help you as you're going on this journey?
Okay. So the most important thing is for people to watch the videos, share them, and I mean, security's not cheap, so if anyone wants help with that, yeah, you're more than likely to donate. But the most important thing is if you see something in your own city, DM me or email me so I can go and then investigate it, because there's so much going on inside this country. Like, a lot of you talked to today were from California. A few of you guys were from Minnesota. I'm sorry.
Where do we donate?
Just come talk to me. But there's actually a website called supportnickshirley.com as well.
And I should shout out even your X account. You can subscribe to that X account.
Oh yeah, you can subscribe to me on X.
Do you have other subscription stuff?
X is the best one because 100% goes to you, unlike other platforms.
Great. Have you ever contemplated having, I don't know what the term, maybe a farm system? Like, have you ever had a tip and you can't get to that town, but you know someone who's closer to it?
Yeah. So right now I'm actually developing a website called antifraudclub.com, and that's where you see this shirt right here. The back of it says Anti-Fraud Taxpayer Club. And so I'm actually trying to make it available so people can go inside of their own cities, because what I did in California is the HHS actually opened up their databases to the public. And so I'm actually trying to figure out a way to come up with like a decentralized version of Doge and then help other people go out and find the fraud inside their places. And then they can then platform it on my site, and it's all going to be like completely free for people to use. And then I'm going to teach people essentially how to go in and so that will be cool. Like the site's going to be free, but I think to learn from me, I might charge like a $5 fee or something, but just so I can keep the site up.
Awesome. Who do we have next here?
Hi, Nick.
Hello.
So I'm a big fan. And I do speak hillbilly because I'm from Georgia.
Good, I like it.
There are a couple of us here from Georgia, but we would love for you to come in and expose Fulton County.
I've heard a lot about Fulton County.
A few Charlie episodes about that place.
So that is a gerrymandered big section of Atlanta.
Okay.
And you
Noted.
probably heard the Buckhead, which is the wealthy section, has been trying to separate because they don't get support, but they want Buckhead's money for the city. But there are just layers and layers and layers of corruption and fraud with it, especially the voter fraud. They have been putting up homeless people, taking them in to vote. There have been people, there's a guy that's actually been on Instagram. Hillary, do you know his name? Okay. But he has been going in and he has found that that people that voted were registered at cemeteries, the addresses, at vacant lots.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going on in Atlanta, and we would love for you to come there.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great video for me to go do. So I'll take you up on that one.
Do you have like maybe a tier list or a rank list of places you most want to go to that you haven't yet?
Yeah, but I got to keep that one a secret. But that's on there. I think that'd be really good because in California, for instance, and I did a video just to show like how easy it would be to vote in general without voter ID. There was a lady, this also goes back to me talking about how non-controversial issues have become controversial. There was a lady who registered her dog to vote. She was Republican.
Oh,
the dog voted
how about
twice,
a bird?
once successfully,
Okay.
the second
Bird.
time didn't go successfully, and then she turned herself in. You had Democrats the next day defending the dog.
We're pro-dog people.
We're pro-dog people, but the fact was either whether it was a Democrat or Republican, just to show that fact that a dog's registered to vote, you had a person, literally, not even a person, you had thousands of people defending the dog. And they didn't see the issue because it's not a right or left issue, but they couldn't, but because they made a left or right issue, it became one, but they couldn't say that it's not good that a dog was registered to vote.
Would you rather have dogs voting or dead people or illegals? Give us a ranking.
I think a dog would probably be smarter.
All right, that was our Good Friday.
Wow, that was a great interview, I think. That just came out a couple hours ago. Okay, our second good video will be Trish with Stacey Abrams update.
If a baker makes the perfect pie, but nobody sees it.
Do you remember Stacey Abrams with all her ridiculous
This
plans
one's 9
to,
minutes.
get everybody gas stoves. Yeah, she had like $2 billion that she got from the Biden administration so that everybody could become more energy efficient. Well, Lee Zeldin took this one on big time. I bet you Pammy was a little bit jealous because, Lee was getting a little attention, I noticed. And then where did it go? Okay, where's the prosecution for Stacey Abrams? Thank you very much. Stacey Abrams deserves to be looked at very, very, very hard because Stacey Abrams got $2 billion, which I'd like to know where that money went. And it seemed to be churning through her organization. We've reported on that. I reported on that last spring, I believe it was. Anyway, here is Lee Zeldin. You don't see him on camera just yet. I'm going to show you him on camera just to jog your memory so you know exactly who he is. But here is Lee Zeldin telling the president, watch Pam's face as this is all going down, that he has discovered $20 billion that was getting sent to all kinds of people, Democrats, of course, including one Stacey Abrams, $2 billion to her organization. It was all getting funneled through Citibank, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, we got all kinds of fraud going on, and it's got to get prosecuted. I repeat, it has got to get prosecuted. I'm going to get to Ilhan in a second. She's scared now because, somebody who actually wants to see her pay the price is going to come into office. Watch Lee.
EPA has now canceled over 20. Mr. President, for the opportunity to do this for the worth of. EPA has now canceled over $22 billion worth of contracts. $2 billion going to this NGO that Stacey Abrams was tied to. They received only $100 in 2023. And then the Biden administration gave them $2 billion. The director of the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund saw his former employer get $5 billion. So $20 billion went to just 8 NGOs, and they're all pass-throughs. And then they were giving it to other entities. Many of them were pass-throughs. And what you have is all these extra middlemen, they're taking their cut. And the taxpayer ends up getting screwed. They're losing out on all this hard-earned money. They can't afford to have the federal government wait. The partnership with Doge and Elon Musk has been incredible at EPA. Their team is very talented. We wouldn't have been able to do it without them. And of course, this mandate from President Trump to make sure that we identify every last penny, whether we're saving $50,000, $5 million, or $22 billion. We will not rest until every last penny is saved. Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity to do this for the American public.
Look at that. He's not even on camera. Pam's on camera. He's not even on camera. He's not as much of a camera hog, okay? I like that about him. He's very modest. He's got a very good sense of, I think, being center, and he's motivated to do the right thing. He's more sophisticated than her. He's actually a former paratrooper, by the way, so a former military guy. All of this is going to come in handy. And, he was all out to get Stacey Abrams, but, here he is turning over the information to her and it goes nowhere. I mean, can you imagine the frustration? It's like you're the whistleblower out in Minnesota, right? And you're like, hey, I got $19 billion worth of fraud. And Timmy Waltz looks at you and then looks away. And, Keith Elson, same thing, looks at you and looks away. And, well, we don't know what Ilhan Omar was doing, but we're going to get to that in a second. So this woman, who, by the way, was out there telling the New York Times back in 2019 that she won. She won in Georgia as governor. Somehow she never faced any kind of consequence for that. No, she got herself a full spread in the New York Times weekend magazine. Stacey Abrams got the cover of that thing, just saying, I won. Donald Trump, on the other hand, well, J6 going down in history, right? In infamy. We won't go there right now because you've heard me before. I have a lot to say on that. But what I'd say, the bottom line here is that, Stacey Abrams, who, by the way, had to pay fines, her new Georgia project hadn't disclosed various contributions they were making. It was like some kind of, I don't know, circle of trust, right? You give us money and we give you money to put back in your campaigns, maybe after taking a little bit something for themselves. So they hadn't disclosed contributions in the spending after it advocated for Abrams in the 2018 governor's race. So she was using it as a little money pot to then help her own governor's race. She's mad about this. She's like, oh, how dare you say this about me? But I think that now Stacey Abrams and her case could be back front and center because this guy who's chasing down all the money, including, I guess, some money that was going to some Canadian companies with some Democrat ties, they're all going to be fair game.
I'll give you one more really quickly. There was $160 million that went to a Canadian electric vehicle bus manufacturer. The Biden administration sent all of the money. Now, you might say, hey, just produce the school bus and then we'll pay you. Or if you need some partial payments along the way, we'll give some money that makes sense. Right. They gave all the money up front. Well, guess what? They just declared bankruptcy. They still haven't provided $95 million worth of school buses to 55 school districts. It's the American taxpayer that gets screwed.
Yeah, this is the... I can't afford therapy. You can afford that matcha smoothie. Therapy is for rich people. No, it's like...
Yeah, it is the American taxpayer.
About 2.5.
Subscribe. There you go. It makes a little ding, so it always kind of causes me to jump just for a second. Anyway, the ding. You heard the ding. You see the subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, to the show. I mean, guys, this is... I think this is a long time coming. I think this had to happen for whatever reason. He was maybe pushed over the edge with some of the Swalwell stuff, thinking perhaps she was loyal to him rather than loyal to the president. But you know what? At the end of the day, you got to be loyal to the country and you got to be loyal to your job and you've got to do what's right. Now, I do think that Lee Zeldin would do an excellent job. I mean, I happen to like Jeanine Pirro a lot too. You all know that. And she's like a complete pistol and she's motivated and she's got, a real clear head when it comes to basically understanding what's what, right? And the importance, if you would, I want to play you some sound from Jeanine Pirro of following the law because the law is all that matters. So as we think about who might be next, I have certain preferences. I would love to see somebody who's got some executive functioning capability and management capability. I want a CEO, if you would, of the DOJ, just like I want a CEO of the country. I got a CEO in Donald Trump. We have that as Americans. And I'll tell you, having reported on business my entire career, there is a difference, a vast difference between a business person and a politician. And I've seen it. I told you guys this story, right? When Donald Trump was first on the scene and I was sitting in my office, trying to get interviews with this, that, and the other, and all the candidates, who were the two people who called me back right away, whose teams called me back right away? Get a load of this. Carly Fiorina, CEO. Okay, I know we're not necessarily Carly Fiorina fans here, and I don't think she had the je ne sais quoi, right, to be able to make it as the president, but she knew enough to return a lousy phone call, okay? And President Trump. And everybody else. I mean, Ted Cruz, it was like pulling teeth to get him on. I mean, I had to go through, I think the guy was had a friend who was friends with the head of the finance committee. I mean, it was just... because you had a bunch of political operators running their show. Whereas with Carly, she took people from the business world. With Donald Trump, he had people from the business world. And there is a significant difference, okay? Say what you want, but the business reporters are always smarter and better than the political reporters. Full on, okay? That's just the way it is. I don't know why. Maybe because some people just don't operate in the real world. I would love to see somebody that comes from a very large firm who has managed hundreds of attorneys and taken on big cases, because this is what this is. You've got to be able to manage people. You've got to be a good sort of inspirer of people. And you've got to think about deadlines and getting, SH and done. All right. It's just got to get done. You can't pull a Pam Bondi and not turn in the homework.
Okay. That's video number 2. I got 2 new ones from our TikTok lady.
Found one of the pilots. They have rescued him. They have not found the other one. The one that they got is being treated treated medically. I don't know if that means that the person's in bad shape or just a cautionary thing that's going on. Iran regime has now doubled their reward to any citizen that finds the remaining person and turns them over to them, which in one way is good. It means they haven't found them. In the other way, they are desperate to get this person because God knows what they're going to do to them if they get a hold of them. This is a chance for the Iranian citizens to do the right thing and show the United States that you stand with us. You know, and by the way, liberals, is this something that you also protest for? Is this something that you celebrate? If Iran gets a hold of this missing military fighter jet pilot and they torture them on television, is this something you'll celebrate the streets for? I stand by what I said. I do not think Iran is going to give up. I do not think that Iran is going to surrender. I do think that Iran will take their own selves out and their own people out before they give in. And I do think that if you protest against the United States and you protest for a regime who wants to unalive people in the United States, I think you should be deported to that country. Good afternoon, guys.
Okay, I got the second one here.
I went into an office that I've been calling on for quite a while, and me and the girl always talk. We're always friendly to each other. We actually kind of become friends, you know. Last time I went in there, she was rude. She was curt. She cut me short. She had like she didn't want me in there, you know, and I was so stunned and pissed off. So I came out of the car and I thought to myself, what a fucking bitch, you know, what's wrong with you? I haven't done anything to you for you to act like that. I found out a week later that like the next night after that, the day after that, that night, she hung herself. She hung herself and she laid out all night long in the cold and the dark for hours, unalived with nobody finding her. And you know, it makes you think, you know, you talk to somebody who might be rude, you know, and your first thought is, God, what a bitch. What's wrong with this person? Whatever happened to going, hey, I don't know if something's wrong or not, but here's my number if you need to talk. Or send them a text and going, hey, just wanted you to know I'm here. If anything's wrong and you need to talk. You know, they might shoot you down. They might say, go fuck yourself. But at least you tried. I didn't try. I didn't send a text and go, hey, I noticed you were acting a little different today. I hope everything's okay. I'm here for you if you need me. No, what did I do? We are so cold to each other. We get on this internet. We hide behind the screen and we say the most horrific things to people. We get on here. We make fun of people who's got problems. We make fun of people who don't look like we do. And that all the people liking it. You just type whatever you want to type out. Just say whatever you want to say. Fuck it. Fuck their feelings. You think this shit don't hurt people? And what is the person behind the keyboard that types these horrible things? What do you look like? You have to be a monster to say the stuff that you say to these people online. There's so much cruelty in this world. And we could change it just like that. Just like that. You know what I asked myself, you know, and I the more I talk to the person that knows her, I don't think it would have made a difference. But would it have? Would it have if I had said, hey, I noticed you were a little off today with how you normally act. Just want you to know I'm here for you if you need to talk. What if I had done that? She may not have responded back. She probably had already made up her mind by that time. But I didn't do that. And the next time you come across somebody who's curt or rude, maybe it's not that they're just a bitch. Maybe it's just they're really going through a whole lot of shit and they're just at their breaking point and they're irritable and they have no hope. And what if somebody changed everything by just being kind. By just being kind. Can we not be kind to each other? Try to make this video 3 times, and I'm
Amen to that. To her on that video. So I got Megan Kelly a little bit long, 117 about Tiger Woods. So we'll see about that.
If you have a crack like this, well, you have a problem. Today I'm learning how a cracked wall might...
All right, let's talk about Tiger. Because I love it when we have different takes on it. But I agreed with your take too. But I looked at it, I was like, this is so sad. I was like, this is somebody who was kind of abused in a way by his dad, who like didn't let him be a little boy, just was building a future golf star. And I'm sure the dad thought he was doing the right thing. And of course, Tiger's a billionaire. He's a world famous. Okay, great. You won. You did it. But he's unhappy. He is so miserable. He's so fucking miserable and fucked up and could have killed how many Americans at this point? And it's because I think he didn't have real love. That's not real love.
Right.
That's like run, pony, run.
Right.
And he didn't have a childhood. You know, he didn't goof around at the mall or the movies. Like he's 50. So I know when he grew up, that's what you did. You goofed around at the mall and the movies and you built forts and rode your bike and sat by the stream by yourself, right? Like you had downtime is what I'm saying.
Yes.
None of that happened. So he wasn't equipped. He didn't build any of the life skills. And now he's had all these accidents, not to mention sports, challenges that have caused him to be in physical pain. And even when he had that catastrophic crash in 2021, almost had his leg amputated. How many surgeries did he have? Like a dozen. And then right back out there. He went on to win. Well, no, he won the Masters in 2019, but he still got back out there in the tournaments. And it's like, go racehorse, go. So it's like, of course, he's in pain. It's just like, this is a shattered human being. I don't care what the bank book says. But I understand the other point, which is stop fucking endangering the children of America, you selfish, spoiled gazillionaire.
Or any one of us. I mean, he could smash into parents of young children and kill them and leave them orphaned. Listening to you talk about this, and I was listening to you the other day, and I understand where you're coming from 100%. But as you're talking, I'm thinking, there's a corollary that we've got. People not that much younger than Tiger, and that's the Williams sisters. Their father did the same exact thing.
It's true.
Richard Williams put those girls on the tennis court when they were very young and made it his mission to make them tennis pros and stars. And just
they say he married their mother for that same reason. She's very tall and she's strong.
Are you serious?
That's what they say.
I didn't know that.
Unconfirmed.
Whoa.
Yeah.
But the other corollary with the two is that they both were, and I think this is part of the reason they feel a little bit untouchable and reasons to make excuses for. They both broke race barriers in sports that were traditionally exclusively white.
Tiger and the Williams.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
They both joined sports that were dominated by whites.
But the Williams sisters don't deal with whatever issues they may have over a lost childhood by repeatedly getting behind the wheel off of their faces.
No, they just yell at the little umpire.
That's fine.
much healthier.
Keep it on the court. Keep it on the court. Keep it on the golf course. I just like.
And by the way, that's just Serena. Venus was never.
Yeah,
caught.
Venus is a much cooler cat than that. But
also, I will say the girls had each other, which is good.
That's true. Although you could look at it this way as well. How difficult it must be to be siblings growing up in this unique ecosystem. And one of them is clearly just going to be like she's going to be in the stratosphere. You're great. But in the history books, it's her name first. We will find out later she was doping. I'm convinced. Serena.
Oh, I think they all are. Doug wrote a book before he turned to nonfiction. He wrote a couple of novels. And one of them is called Trophy Son. And it's about this, like how basically that father that you just described. And he did a lot of research in the tennis world, which we love because we're a tennis family. He plays, I don't play, but he plays, my kids play. And he spoke to a very well-known tennis player who said, like, everybody's doping. And if you don't dope, you can't make it. You're kind of like, you have to choose to leave.
It makes sense because you see these players come back out on the court after sustained, like Roger Federer, 3 knee surgeries, aging champion. But, you know, 1 knee surgery is enough if you're not doping. It's taking you out. I'm sorry, it is. But I think what just drove me nuts about Serena is everybody was pretending that the kind of musculature she had on the court, which was a man's musculature.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Women, you can work out all day long. You're not developing muscles like that. You know, so, okay. But that's...
She denies it ever.
Of course she
ever
denies
doping
it. She's
at all.
happy to be a spokesperson for her GLP-1.
Yes.
But we're not doping. We never doped. But anyway, yeah, the Tiger thing, you know, I was listening to Dave Portnoy, who has been catching some crap in the culture, but I liked what he had to say. And
What did he
was
say?
He said, I don't know anybody who's ever rolled a car.
No, me neither.
Let alone twice. Like,
Yeah.
this guy's just rolling cars all, like, he's a menace to, if this had been you, me,
we'd be getting killed.
Our licenses would be permanently revoked.
And there'd be no sympathy. Like, our core fans would have our backs, but God bless you all. Thank you. But the society, the way it's written up, would have been completely excoriating.
The idea that, and I don't like what he's doing what he did 16 years ago, except we haven't seen the presser yet. But remember 16 years ago, it was like the mistresses, the drugs, the, you know, and he had a whole presser. I'm so sorry. I've got a lot of problems. I didn't have a childhood. I got to make things right. Now he's off in another country. He petitioned the judge. Can I leave the country? The only way I'm going to get help, really good drug help, is in another country.
Okay.
Which made me think of Matthew Perry's memoir, in which he wrote, which was published not long before he died of his addictions. He wrote that he loved going outside of the United States. Know why? Easier to get drugs.
Oh, makes sense. And by the way, Charlie Sheen went to American rehabs and eventually one took. In fact, I know Charlie, but now I love him. But other friends of ours were in rehab with him and had the most amazing stories about Charlie Sheen and on one of the times it didn't take.
Amazing.
But anyway, my point is, Charlie Sheen is a household name too. And this is at the height of his fame. He went to an American rehab. Tiger Woods can go to an American. And part of the whole thing, as I understand it, is like humbling yourself and saying, yes, I'm Tiger Woods and I'm an alcoholic or I'm a drug addict. Like that, the whole thing is to be like, I'm just like you. I'm no better than any of you. And I think the other people there struggling are very quick to accept that, you know, like they're not fucking worried about you. They're worried about the life they just blew up that landed them in rehab.
You know who famously talked about this way before this became like a culturally commonplace thing to do was Elizabeth Taylor, who checked herself into Betty Ford, had many issues with addiction throughout her life. And she came out of Betty Ford and she said, do you know what helped fix me? They didn't treat me like a movie star. I had to clean the toilets just like everybody else.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. Tiger didn't kick things off on a good note when we now know, thanks to TMZ, which got the body cam from the officer, the footage. He called President Trump. Like as soon as he rolled the car and got out of it and the cops were there, he called the president, which is a douche move, I think. It's very clear he called to try to get out of this somehow.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's my supposition, but why the hell, you know, there's a statement where he later said to the cops, and we're going to play the body cam, but he later says to the cops on scene, he was very apologetic for what he did last night. The night before, Trump had been on The Five on Fox News, and it said, I don't think Tiger's going to play the Masters this year. So he apparently outed a confidence that he received from Tiger. And keep in mind, he knows Tiger from the golf course. They're friends. And also Trump's now former daughter-in-law is dating him, Vanessa Trump,
Next two
Don
will
Jr.'s
be
ex. So
Kitty's video.
it sounds like Trump said something he wasn't at liberty to say and had apologized to Tiger in that phone call. So I suppose there's a chance that Trump called Tiger to apologize just in a few seconds after the rollover. But I'm going to go with Tiger called him and asked for some help because he knew this was going to be a PR disaster and potentially a legal one. Both were correct. And here's the body cam footage showing what the cops heard.
Join Planet Fitness for 1 cent down, $15 a month. No commitment. Deal ends Friday, April 10th.
Looking for your next off-grid campsite? OnX Off-Road helps you find free, legal dispersed camping on public land. See where camping's allowed.
We'll get you to hang out down here with us, please.
Thank you so much. All right. You got it. All right. Thank you. Bye. Say again?
Just keep you down here with us, please.
Yeah, I was just talking to the president. Try to get away from everybody. Oh, yeah. He's very apologetic for what he did last night. Really?
Yeah, so that was his manager with that exchange about very apologetic for what he did last night. There's no question he called him to try to get himself out of it. And the whole thing has got privilege written all over it, Maureen. You know, you and I rolling a vehicle, like eyes, pupils dilated.
Keeping our sunglasses on. You think the cops would allow us to keep our sunglasses on?
Hell no.
Showing up at
And
the
walk
scene of the
away?
crime and just stroll all over that. That's a crime scene. What I love about that is it shows. So I think he was sure to try to get the president on the phone so that he could be on the phone, if he really was, with the president at that very moment when the cops were rolling up. The way Meghan Markle gets down on the floor and cries and waits for Harry to come home and catch her spontaneously on the floor crying. So he's like, yeah, just got off. Now, what's interesting there is the cop doesn't say, who are you talking to?
No.
There's no provoking question. He volunteers. Oh, hey, I was just on the phone with the president.
Right,
You know
as
how that
one
is?
does.
It's like when the cop pulled Justin Timberlake over in Sag Harbor 2 summers ago, and he said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And JT goes, "I'm on a world tour."
Oh God,
You know,
right?
It's like, but they want, and
He should have said, "Bringing sexy back."
Oh, it's hard to explain what I'm doing to the culture, Mr. Policeman.
I was just speaking to my wife, Jessica Biel, but I'll get right back with you, officer.
It's here's the other thing. I was on the Nerve this morning. I was talking about the way The View was discussing this, and Sonny Hostin was saying these things about he's in pain. He's had all these surgeries. By the way, he's had multiple surgeries on that leg he almost lost because of a crash he caused speeding, going 90 miles per hour in a 45 mile per hour lane in like a very twisty road, you know? So it's like,
and by the way, they didn't give him a test then, like a breathalyzer or a urine test, because they thought it was like near death and they thought it would be disrespectful. But I mean, what are the odds that he was not on something for that one too?
What are the odds? I mean, talk about rehab and somebody who really needs rehab. But Sonny Hostin was saying, oh, you know, it's this, it's that. She had a million excuses for him. I love to call Sonny America's preeminent race hustler.
Yeah.
So let's say this was a white athlete who had flipped his car not once but twice, had been collared at least 4 times for driving under the influence. Now that's what we know of. This is a habit for this guy.
That's true. What other favors did he call in on other potential accidents?
Right, exactly. Or had covered up, or, you know, whatever he's donating to the local PD. So they like look the other way. You know, if this had been a white athlete with this many passes, Sonny would be screaming white privilege all day long.
That's very true. That is 100% true. And meanwhile, she's bitching about how her son, who was training for a marathon, was running in her very ritzy neighborhood. And she felt the need to go down to the police station to say, he's running, he's mine. He's mine. Don't you bother him. Like it's just a bunch of racist cops sitting in her Tony neighborhood waiting to track down the black kids who are running. I mean, she's a loon, but you're right. She is a race hustler. She wasn't always like this. Here's more. It's video. He's there in the back of the squad car and he's hiccuping and closing his eyes like he's napping. Here's Tiger. All right. You can see, he can barely look. He's hiccuping. This is so weird, Maureen. I mean, he looks so out of it.
He looks like he's nodding off.
Yeah, he is. Like, obviously, he is severely impaired and got behind the wheel of a car like this. The cops, they're no idiots. Like, they knew he was impaired, even though he didn't fail the breathalyzer. They knew it was an alcohol. And his, walking test was a nightmare. And then here's a picture of him with the blanket over his head in the squad car, and he looks like he is like in Mecca.
I know.
Like, what is this? What is this for the listening audience? You just got to tune into the show to look at it. It's It's an hour and 30 minutes into the broadcast, just about. And he's got like, it looks like a Mother Teresa veil over the top of his head, or like, you know, head covering.
Mm-hmm.
And he's looking up to the heavens, and he's got his two hands almost in the prayerful position. There's something very eerie about that shot.
It's almost one of like religious supplication / mortification. I truly believe if Andy Warhol were still with us, this would be a triptych for the ages, you know, or
Yeah.
one of those 4-panel things he did.
Yeah.
This is the earlier footage we were looking at of him like nodding off and hiccuping, you know, what he said he was on. He told the cops when they pulled those 2 pills out of his pocket, oh, those are narcos, which to me sounds like street lingo.
Oh, wait, we have that here. Let's watch Sat 6.
Up down my phone, and all of a sudden, boom.
I'm gonna just take a look at it. I go in and just like take. Is this comfortable for you?
Yeah.
You all right? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't feel anything out of the ass. So we're gonna have our medic come and check you out. All right?
Yeah.
All
He's getting the like follow my fingers left and right test and hiccuping. He's doing some fist thing. Fist.
Place your hands behind your back. Place them behind your
Getting
back.
arrested now.
There you go. So at this time, I do believe your normal faculties are impaired, okay? And you're under the unknown substance, okay? So at this time, you're under arrest for DUI. Yes, sir.
Get a bag. Yeah, Miss May.
Can you just take that?
Yeah. That's a narco. Narco? Yeah. Okay.
There are the pills. Right out of his pocket. You were saying about narco. It's a narco, he says.
So it seems, just my opinion, that he's addicted to opiates.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fancy way of saying heroin. Your doctor gave you some heroin in pill form. I think Tiger Woods, he was nodding off in the back of that patrol car. I think we should start speaking about him in the appropriate parlance. Tiger Woods is a junkie. He may be one of golf's greatest players ever, if not the greatest. He's also a junkie.
Thanks for watching this clip. If you're new here.
That was a good one, huh? Okay, we got our first long one, 26 minutes. Our YouTube lady. Okay, so we'll see what this one's about.
To store staff, 2 women had been seen concealing worth thousands of dollars inside a bag before attempting to walk out. But for these 2, their luck had just run out.
Stop! Put your hands up! Put your hands up! You got any ID on you?
Yes, can I get it from the car?
No. You pay for this?
My mom did. She's in there.
All right. Come here. How old are you?
16.
Come over here. 40. I've got one detained.
Yes. One detained.
Sit down for me.
Breathe.
Tell your mom to come outside.
All right.
The suspect seen here was later identified as Milagros Carrion, a girl who had entered the store with one goal in mind, walking out with high-end fragrances and lash and brow products she had no intention of paying for. Not only did she lie about her age when questioned, she also tried to brush the entire encounter off by claiming her mother, who was still inside the store, had paid for everything. It didn't take long, however, for officers to realize that Milagros had a serious problem keeping her story straight.
Where's your car at?
Huh?
Where's the car?
Over there.
What kind of car is it?
Hold on. I'm calling my mom. I'm on the phone.
No, you're texting.
No, I said 12. Come hurry. That's my mom. Can I get my phone back?
No. What kind of car are you guys driving?
Can I get my phone back?
No. 40. My detainee says that they're parked somewhere near the REI parking lot. She's refusing to give me any more details on what kind of car.
Can I get my phone?
Not at this moment, no.
Why don't you go get my mom? She gets home.
Okay, well, I mean, you texted her, so if she's in there, she should be out, right? What does she look like?
She's not on here.
You want to go inside to see if there's anyone else inside? She says it's her mom. That's what she's saying. So they said that she just came out. I stopped her right here, just detained her. She texted someone, 12 is coming, come out, hurry. And then she's saying that her mom is still inside and paid for these proceeds.
Riddle me this. How are you able to pay for items after they've already been taken out of the store? Because here's the thing. Even if all of these items were scanned the way they're supposed to be scanned, put inside of the bag, and the person is there to pay for it, they would not let that merchandise leave the store until that card was swiped or cash was in hand. That is how proper transactions work, especially for a major company like Ulta. They are not just simply going to trust that the person that is left behind has the money for a bag full of expensive perfumes. Come on now. Come on. You actually think that bullshit story was gonna hold?
So Recorder's gonna go in, see if anyone's still inside, and then we'll just go from there.
So what?
The miss here is 16 years old. She said her car's over there somewhere. She said her ID's in the car.
What kind of car? What kind? What color? 4-door, 2-door, sedan, SUV? I'm sorry?
I said I'm not arrested.
You're not a racist?
No, I said I'm not arrested. I would never say you're a racist.
Oh, I thought you called me a racist. I'm not a racist.
Officers had already seen right through Milagros' story. What made it even more remarkable was that despite being caught red-handed, she somehow had the audacity to claim she was the one being treated unfairly.
And he took my phone, and I was on the phone with my brother. That's disrespectful.
He took my phone. That's disrespectful. I was talking to my brother. I'm sorry, honey. But if this is your first run-in with the police, which I'm just gonna, be a little bit of a soothsayer here and say that this won't be your last. But since this is your first run-in with the police, possibly, they're gonna take your phone if they're detaining you because they don't want you texting anybody anything they don't want you to say because you are being detained by the police and possibly going to be arrested. And I think that she's probably going to be arrested. Not only does she have a bag full of expensive cosmetics, perfumes, and things from Ulta, but that bag isn't even an Ulta bag. That bag is from Bath & Body Works. She has merchandise in a Bath & Body Works bag that is not from Bath & Body Works. So that alone tells me that she did not buy those items from Ulta. And again, is she really so stupid that she thinks that her bullshit story is going to stick? Seriously? So we know that she's not actually 16 because the voiceover told us that she lied about her age, but she's so stupid I would have believed it.
I think it was your boyfriend.
No. Do you know what we think is disrespectful? Well, I'll tell you what we think is disrespectful. You have a load of contents in here and no receipt.
They said one was still in line to pay, so I don't know if they walked in together. This is your mom?
Yes, this is my mom. She's paying for everything, right?
I don't know how she's gonna pay for everything when all the stuff is outside. Because you gotta scan that to pay for it, right?
You're right.
Unless there's some kind of magic thing that you know that I don't know.
I'm gonna go talk to you.
You're 16?
Why I look older?
I didn't say that. I was just trying to get your age. Are you from around here? Where do you live? What brings you out to Northbrook?
My mom took me. I was being a little kid.
I find that hard to believe.
What, me?
You said I was being a little bitch, and I said I find that hard to believe.
I love the sarcasm on this female police officer, man. Police women are the best. They're the best because they're good and sassy, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I do.
I know. Do you know sarcasm?
No. I just want my phone back.
After we get to the bottom of things, I'll give you back your phone.
Yeah, I don't care. You can yell at me. You know what? I'm not
trying to yell at you. There's a lot of stuff you have here.
I need a makeup class. I need to leave it. If you scan it, I wonder how much it's gonna cost. I wonder what this don't need to scan it. What this is gonna cost.
What's your name? I'm gonna have to find out anyway, right? It's easy if you just tell me. You have a driver's license?
No. You know then why I can't have a driver's license.
16?
Yeah, you can. You have to be 18. Yes, I took a permit test. It says you gotta be 18. And you gotta do 40 hours of community service. Or no, 40 hours of sorry, and you gotta call in to do your hours.
Nah, I mean, I guess things have changed because I thought you could be 16. They give you what's called a GDL, a graduated driver's license.
They never given me that.
Okay. So mom told you she was gonna pay for this stuff and told you to go wait in the car? No?
I just was being a bad or at least she was gonna buy me.
You doing what?
I said I just wanted to be a big player. Thank you guys.
Did you tell mom you were gonna go out with this stuff?
Now you just got me in trouble.
No, you got yourself in trouble.
She paid for the stuff. What you mean I might never get it back?
Who's Brianna? Is that you or is
That's
that mom?
her.
That's her.
Yeah.
And she's your mom?
What do you mean I might not ever get it back? Seriously, she's shocked. After all of this, she's sitting there talking to cops. She flat out knows that she's busted. She's got a bunch of unpaid for merchandise from Ulta in a Bath & Body Works bag. And she's still sitting there surprised, thinking that she was going to get all that stuff back as soon as the cops left. Really? If she actually is an adult, that's scary.
So they're saying that they can't find you in any of our systems? You said you have a school ID, right? Yeah, that might help me. Where's your car at?
She got it unlocked.
Okay. Is it right here, or do I have to go looking for it further down?
I don't know.
I'm also surprised that they're not threatening to give her obstruction. Like, throw an obstruction charge at her because she gave them a name. They put in the name. They're not able to find her. She says that she has an ID. However, her ID is in the car, and she supposedly has no idea where the car is now. Suddenly, she was just like, it's over there. And now he's asking where the car is. And she's like, I don't know. And asking what the car looks like. Is it a 4-door? Is it a 2-door? Is it a sedan? What color is it? I don't know. I am shocked that they have not told her that she's going to get an obstruction charge if she doesn't start complying. Maybe that would light a fire under her ass.
You don't know.
Ain't that a good thing you can't find me?
Not right now, no, because it looks like you might be in trouble.
Hey,
Because you took stuff without paying for it.
But that don't mean I'm gonna go to jail for it.
15 minutes.
What, you trying to tell me I'm gonna go to jail?
Good Friday, everybody.
While officers inside worked on locating the second suspect, those outside began tallying up the stolen merchandise and, more importantly, trying to figure out exactly who they were dealing with.
Let me go and
You have to talk to the boss lady about it.
so I'll sign a waiver right now. Never to come back to here.
Waiver? There's no waivers out here.
Paper.
Is this your first time getting in trouble?
How you put that to the record?
No, just asking.
I just want to go home. I heard she could trap me. I will not be here. I just wanted to be a bitch. I ain't gonna get caught.
What did she do to make you so pissed off you were going to grab stuff and walk out the store?
I want the iPhone 16.
That's why? Are you serious right now?
She
For that little reason?
Yes, like
You can't wait till like Christmas or your birthday or something?
My birthday
Okay,
passed.
so you wait another
My
year.
dad's gonna get it for me.
Then you get the iPhone 17. I don't know.
But the thing is, I've been waiting for how long to get a new phone? I work the summer
The
job.
phone that you have right now still works. I mean, you were using
Well,
it.
I'm
It
not
looked
gonna get it back now. Your boss don't want to give it back to me.
Do you have anything in your pockets and stuff that you need to tell me about right now before she comes over there?
No, because you're gonna They'll be like she could have this in her pocket. No.
Well, if it's in your pocket and she finds it, then the same thing, right? I'm just asking.
But you're making me nervous, so I'm gonna just zip off my nose. But she said I didn't.
It's probably good because you keep saying a bunch of really stupid shit and you're going to start making this whole situation a lot worse. She seriously just say that she's acting out because she wanted a new iPhone 16? Seriously? Or a 17? What? She's an entitled little shit. I really, really hope that she is an adult. I really hope she is. because then she'll get smacked in the ass by the book of the law just a little bit harder.
Can't you just tell me not to come back? I got a concert to go to.
When is that?
Come on.
Who's playing?
But I want to go see Chris Brown, but my mom bought me the tickets either.
Man, you just want everything from your mom. You want a new phone? You want concert tickets? What else? What else are you asking for?
Booking.com has all kinds of stays because some love a rustic cabin. Others feel differently. Find exactly what you're booking for. Booking.com, booking.yeah.
Inside, the mother was eventually located and brought out to the scene. But when the two women came face to face, something strange happened. She looked the officers dead in the eyes and claimed she had absolutely no idea who Milagros was.
Take this stuff out real quick. Thank you for telling me. I got her. Yeah.
She's gonna come here and tell us.
Mom! You dumb. What I do now?
Believe me, I would. You heard me. I want nothing but to get rid of you.
Right.
But I can't verify her age. I don't know who she is.
Believe me, I want nothing more than to get rid of you. I love this officer, man. I'm going to need to find out her name.
Is she saying you're her mom?
20.
Okay, I don't know. No, we don't know. I don't know. We're just asking. Because she's saying your mom. Oh, my mom went in the store. My mom. Like, how are we supposed to say?
I'm 29 years old. Do I look like, if she's probably 16 years old, would I have a 16-year-old? I got pregnant. I have a 10. I could show you my kids. I have a 10 and a 10 and a 6-year-old.
Lying about.
Okay, so what's wrong?
The case was getting stranger by the minute, with the so-called mother, later identified as Brianna E. Barbosa, now outside and standing next to Milagros. Officers could confirm one thing pretty quickly. These two were definitely not mother and daughter, but that didn't mean they were strangers either.
Where is the car that you guys came in?
Huh?
Where's the car that you guys came
I
in?
ain't coming no car. I just called my sister to come and get me.
So why'd she say you guys came in a car? And it's
She,
in the area?
obviously, she's. I'm sorry, I mean the press. Obviously, she's lying because she said she's not my mom. I'm not her mom.
What is your relationship with you guys?
It's a friend of a friend. Like, oh no, you're sorry, you're not the one. The one that just had me in the front. It's a friend of a friend. It's not no, like, oh, you know, I'm all his friend. It's a friend of a friend.
So who's coming to pick you up?
My sister's coming to pick me up.
Okay, well, tell her to pick you up at the Norfolk Police Department because I don't feel comfortable now until I know specifics because you guys are giving me the
Well,
wrong.
my thing is though, like, why do I got for her? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Because you're contributing to the delinquent of a minor. As far as I'm concerned, she's a minor. So until you can prove, please prove to me that she's not.
Can I find my sister then?
Yeah, like I told you, I don't want to keep you.
No, I know. You let me go. That's why I'm not trying to have no trouble with you.
So imagine this plot twist, right? Imagine what if they didn't know each other at all? What if this entitled little shit, whether she's 16, 17, 18, I don't care if the girl sitting on this curb is actually 29 years old. She's still going to be an entitled little shit to me, and I shall continue to refer to her as such. But let's think about this plot twist here. What if she just simply saw this woman in the store, knew that there was a blonde woman in the store, and just, hey, that blonde woman's my mom. That blonde woman, thinking that the police officers were just going to be like, oh, okay, fine, and just let her go, or take their eyes off of her so she could get away. What if this blonde woman didn't even know her at all? What if she was just a victim of circumstance? She just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. This thieving little shit saw her, pinpointed her, and said, yeah, that's my mom. And at the same time insulting her, trying to say that this 29-year-old woman is old enough to be her mom. That's like a backhanded slap in the face right there. But I think they actually do know each other. So let's continue to see how this unfolds.
It's her.
Hello, can you go around? Tia, can you come and get me for, what is the word?
Norfolk Police Department.
Norfolk Police Department. They're not letting me go nowhere. No, they're not letting me. Curse it, tell them to curse them.
No, we're just gonna go back. Somebody transport her back to the PD, and we'll just put her like in one of the.
No, they're not letting me go because people, I don't know. It's a.
Well, we're done with there. You got the receipt. I got the receipt in that bag.
We saw the video.
We're gonna get the actual video later once we request the link. She just needs the. Yeah, we gotta send her the link.
Okay.
So let's bring her in, and we just gotta hold her.
My car's gonna be over.
We're gonna do this one.
Are you gonna go see where the car's at?
What's that?
Is somebody gonna go see where the car's at?
Are you still not telling us what car you came in?
Yep.
All right, well, we're going to get a new car then. So we're going to end up taking her.
Why?
Miss her because she's lying about everything. So.
Why? How am I lying? She just came over there and laughed at you guys.
What's that?
She just came right now. Tell me not. When my line said, "Ma, come here," she's like, "Bye." So I'm going to call your aunt. She just said that. Tell me not. She did not say that.
She said bye. I don't know what else she said. I don't know.
So I'm going to call your aunt.
Okay. So either way.
Why?
Hang on. I told you if I can't find you in my system, I got to take you back and fingerprint you. I told you that.
So, okay, I think she's an illegal immigrant if she has no ID. What do you guys think?
Okay. So now that's what we got to do, okay? Boss wondering closer.
Man, she is nervous as hell. You see, she's like gnawing down on her fingers. She's getting scared. She's getting scared because this friend, aunt, cousin, whoever the hell this blonde chick is, wasn't following along with her whole "that's my mom" story. And so now her fingers are going to be nubs because she is nervous.
Yeah, well, no ID, must be an immigrant.
For a legal hand to form your business, visit LegalZoom.
Y'all calling me crazy. Our new neighborhood is giving get out. Which one of us?
No. She's saying she's
Almost over.
So you're saying you're 16?
What'd she tell you?
What do you think she would have told us?
That's not my mom. She don't know me. She don't know who I am. She ain't come in the store with me.
Well, she obviously went in the store with you. She's saying you're not a minor. So are you a minor or you're not? What date of birth are you?
Oh.
Trying to do the math?
No, I said 08.
08?
Yeah. That is what she told me.
Yeah, whatever. Just get her in the car.
I get my phone. How you let her use her phone?
Why she's so obsessed with her phone. Well, I guess now I can understand why she wants her phone back so bad. Because Princess wanted the new iPhone 17 and she didn't get it. So if she was born in 08, that would make her doing some math here. 18 and 7. So she's saying if she was born in 08 that she would be 17. Do we believe her? She says that she was born in 08, so she's actually 17, not 16. Don't know if we believe her. Unless her birthday is later in the year, because this body cam is from July of 2025. So she could be 16 if born in 08 if she hasn't had her next birthday yet. I sure hope we find out how old she is, because I am still chomping at the bit to see her get punished a little bit worse than, a juvenile would be.
Well, you're the one with the stolen proceeds, so.
At this point, Milagros was placed in handcuffs and prepared to be transported to the station, where officers could finally start piecing together the full picture, untangling every lie both women had told from the moment this encounter began.
Dude, why did it have to take me to say that for you to now start talking?
Because I thought that she was going to fucking have my back, so she wants to be alive.
Of course, you guys. Wait, which one is the problem? Listen.
I thought she was going to have my back. Bitch, you're going to get her in trouble with the cops. You think she's going to stand up for you and go along with whatever bullshit lies she thought you were telling them? Especially when it's one where you're telling police officers that she's a 29-year-old mother. You just insulted your friend. I'm not surprised that she said, hell no, that's not my daughter. I'd be offended too.
Yeah, please. Is that... I just want to know, if my probation officer says I'm free to go, I could go?
I mean...
My probation officer says I'm free to go. This is not her first time getting arrested. I stand corrected. I thought that maybe this was her first time because she was acting like she didn't know that, her bullshit story wasn't going to stick with them about the whole shoplifting thing. She has a probation officer. You really think that probation officer is going to be like, nah, it's all right, just go ahead and let her go? Seriously? You just got caught shoplifting probably well over $1,000 worth of stuff from Ulta, which is probably grand larceny, and you're probably not just going to be let go. Just saying.
No, you're still being charged for the retail theft.
No, that's not the thing, but I'm saying I won't go to the county.
Oh, well, I don't know, because I got to contact your probation officer.
You want me to give you her name? Her name is Bianca Rice of Bridge Requirement.
Well, that's good. Like, we'll have that, but we'll also have it once we run you. But why should it be so difficult?
Because her dumb First of all, if y'all really want to get technical with the bitch, it was her fucking fault because she had the bag first. She gave it to me. So then when she does, if you see that camera,
Can I tell you?
What?
Tell
me what the bitch say.
No, I'm not gonna tell you what the bitch said. What I'm gonna say is what I told her. You guys are both stupid. I'm gonna be honest. You guys are both stupid because you guys both walk in, okay?
Right, and
you guys couldn't make it any more fucking obvious. You guys then go your separate ways. You make a comment about, oh yeah, why did they give me this big bag? And I mean, you guys.
Well, I didn't make the comment about the big bag. She did. She's the one that fucking told me.
Well, either way, we're gonna talk to you back at the station.
No.
Hey, look at me. Thank you for telling me.
But I just want to know.
I was concerned about the juvenile thing.
No, I'm not a juvenile.
We'll
I just want
out.
to know if I'm going to Cook County or not, because how much was it? Because I know it wasn't no.
What was it, like 1,500 or something?
Yeah, so I know that's a felony charge.
Yep, it is. So
it's hard for us.
You're welcome for hallucinating.
No, I don't thank you for that, but I just wanted to know. Now you can look me up now, because she wanted to be nice. If your officer wasn't nice, I would have still kept that age.
Talking about me? I think I was being nice.
No,
Officer Kim is always nice.
No, she's not. She yelled at me with.
Wait,
she?
Oh, he's a talking about. Oh, this is Officer Kim.
I didn't know.
That's
I
Officer-
thought you meant her because
That's Officer Osha.
But
Or Sergeant, actually.
I just want to know if I'm going to Cook County Jail. So I could.
So we have to. Like she said, we have to call your probation officer and see what's
Look,
going
tell
on.
that probation officer, tell her the story when I see her. I gotta see her tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
See, look.
How long are you on probation for?
I've been on probation since March. I haven't had no cases, no nothing. I just beat a case actually for criminal offense to a vehicle, and I have clean drops. I've been doing my shit, but I went with this dumb speaking like, you know what? Like, I don't think I'm gonna be a for it. Like, if you wanted to go to the store, go take that fucking charge. Don't make me do it.
Whose car is this? Yours or hers?
You know that's why I do not have a permit. Why would you ask?
Because I want to see what you're gonna say.
That's it. You know it's hers. You know you looked up at
And
me.
why? Of course I did. But why do you guys?
No, you could come here. Come back.
In the end, both Milagros Carrion and Brianna E. Barbosa were charged with grand theft. What they thought was a clean operation turned out to be anything but.
Well, I guess one thing that we learned is if you're going to be a bad thief, you better team up with a thief that's a lot better and smarter than you are. I have a very strong feeling that Brianna just, didn't want to go down knowing that this chick has already been on probation and she's already been caught doing shit before. Brianna was probably like, shit, we're busted. I'm going to distance myself as far as I can from this chick because she is bad news. And this poor, you know what? She's not even important enough for me to remember her weird ass name. I'm just going to call her that entitled little shit. Even though she admitted that she is a full-blown adult, she's still an entitled little shit. Her mistake was picking a thieving friend that didn't really have her back when shit got serious. And as a result, they both got caught.
So, like I said, it sounds like she's not an American. Does it sound with her voice? Was she an American? I don't think neither one of them was. That was a wild one. I got 3 short clips from last night. With Erica and what's her name? The first one is
Dana Perino gave to me before I took this job. She said, you always want to be the most well-read person in the room. And I try to be every day. But Donald Trump always is. That man does not miss a story, let me tell you. He's always reading the papers and watching the TV. He doesn't miss anything anyone says in the whole world. I don't know how he does it and consumes it all. And it's a lot. And, you guys are busy, right? You're students. You're working. You're in school. You want to have fun. You want to live lives. You can't consume every piece of news. But before you get really hot and bothered about something, or maybe angry, or even really encouraged by something, check other sources and then use your best judgment to sort of balance what the truth is. And unfortunately, that's just the way it has to be done.
And when you have that heavy
Okay, that was the first clip. 2 minutes on the next one.
Specifically started a Bible study.
Excuse me.
Are there other, I mean, that to me makes my heart so happy to know that that is happening within the White House. Are there other groups within the admin that after Charlie, everything happened on 9/10, are there other groups within the admin that also have started their own little Bible study groups?
Members of the cabinet. Members of the cabinet have started Bible studies. One of the most beautiful moments I've witnessed in this job was prior to the cameras coming into a cabinet meeting in the cabinet room. The president always sort of has private conversation with the cabinet and checks in and asks them, how's everyone doing? Is there anything you need from me? And it's sort of that private moment before the cameras roll in. You guys have seen these advertised 3-hour-long cabinet meetings that we hold about once or twice a month. But they do have that private talk. And there was a day in which Secretary Turner prompted a prayer over the president and over the rest of the cabinet. And I had the honor of just standing in the corner of the room for when the president wanted the media to come in and witness that moment with the president of the United States, the vice president of the United States, and the entire cabinet with their heads bowed in that beautiful cabinet room praying together. And I took a video of it on my phone, and I will save it forever because it was the most powerful people in our country and the most powerful man in the world humbling themselves and just praying over each other for protection and safety and continued wisdom. And that was one of the best moments I've witnessed. But we have started a Bible study. It is all women. Men are welcome too if they want. Robert, I see you over there. He's my colleague. He can come if he wants. White House male staff are welcome, but it's been all ladies thus far. And it's been wonderful. Tuesday morning, 7:45 in the Roosevelt Room. And a colleague of mine, Dr. Heidi Overton, she's a big mind in the Maha movement. She's incredibly brilliant, and she leads the study. And it's all young women that are working in the West Wing and just need that moment of prayer before we get started with our very busy days.
I love that.
All right.
So include
one more. Okay, what we got here? I thought I had 3. Where is it? Oh, darn it. There it is. 3 minutes on it, almost 4 minutes.
Loudly. My name is Ryan Caldwell. I go to TW. My question is about the Save America Act.
Yes. I'm glad you're calling it. It is the Save America Act. So
ID and proof of citizenship in order to prevent voter fraud. However, voter fraud is incredibly rare. According to the Heritage Foundation, which is a conservative database, by the way, there have only been a few hundred cases of voter fraud since 1982 out of hundreds of millions of votes. Additionally, according to the Brennan Institute of Justice, there are 21.8 million Americans who do not have easy access to proofs of citizenship. So my question to you is it worth it to risk millions of Americans from voting in order to prevent a few hundred cases of voter fraud?
First of all, thank you for the question. No need to boo. It's an honest question. I'm happy to give you an honest answer. First of all, I have not seen the data you provided, so I'd like to go check it myself and make sure that it's actually accurate in the way that you're citing it. And there is certainly much more, I believe, voter fraud in this country, and I'm sure the statistics back it up, than what you cited with one survey. And why are you okay with any voter fraud in the United States of America? We are the greatest country on the face of the earth, and we should have the safest and most secure elections of any country on earth. And it is
transparent.
And transparent. And it is absolutely absurd that voter ID is not the land of the law in this country already. And 89%, 80 to 90%, based on which poll you look at, of Americans in this country support bringing a piece of identification to the polls when you cast a ballot in an American election. And that is all the Save America Act is asking people to do, to prove you're a citizen and to bring an ID to the polls to vote in elections in the greatest country in the history of the planet. And this idea that the Save America Act would disenfranchise anyone is frankly insulting, that Americans aren't smart enough to get the proper identification to go vote and show up to the ballot. So we should.
This is pretty good.
We absolutely should pass the Save America Act. It's a common sense piece of legislation, and Democrats would be wise to get on board with this, because the only people in the world, except for maybe the gentleman who asked the question, seem to be politicians in this city who don't want voter ID and proof of citizenship in American elections. So I think everybody on Capitol Hill should pass that piece of legislation.
Okay, thank you for your question. Yep.
All right. That was last night. I got more short clips before we get to 3 Benny videos. Wait. Let's see if it's this one. Oh. What do you guys, big story on this one here? Anybody from Vermont in chat?
So what makes you qualified to be governor?
Well, I think what really makes me qualified is the fact that I have a voice and I have opinions that a lot of Vermonters really agree with. I think that as a society, we should look past the age of a person, and instead we should look at what they actually believe in and their ability to lead. And if the Vermonters think that I am the candidate who has the best opinions and have the best ability to lead, then I should be the candidate who is in the governor's office.
What do you guys think
come
of a
January.
14-year-old?
And looking at the current political landscape, do you think you're more mature than some of America's current politicians?
I wouldn't exactly like to call myself more mature, mainly due to the fact that I am 14. So obviously that is a barrier for me. But I would like to believe that I come from a new perspective in politics. My campaign is mainly being led on political independence and not relying on support from the major 2 political blocs. My campaign is being led solely on what I believe is best for our state and solely what I think is the best way to get things done.
And what are you seeing in the current landscape that others are missing? You talked about this new perspective, and how have you shaped your political worldview and formed your beliefs at such a young age?
Really what I'm seeing in Vermont is housing, energy, and taxes. That's what we should be focusing on. For housing, we have this major act known as Act 250. It's just a set of major regulations. It increases costs by about $14,000 for constructors. I would propose to completely scrap that act and start from zero, something that no other politicians are seriously pushing for. And for energy, something that I don't know exactly if it was Phil Scott or the governor or his predecessor, but we shut down our nuclear plant. And with our nuclear plant, we had full energy independence. Now we're relying on Canadian hydropower to fuel our state. So I would propose to push to reopen that nuclear plant and to once again secure Vermont's independence on the energy front. And of course, oh, you can go on, yeah.
Oh, no. Well, I was just going to follow up your social media. You've been very active. You've been discussing all sorts of global topics. We are also currently in a war with Iran, gas prices impacting Americans across the country, including in Vermont. What is your stance on the ongoing conflict and how you think this administration is handling it?
I think that on the international stage, this administration has performed very, very poorly. We have been pushing around our neighbors, pushing around our allies, and now we're invading foreign countries with very conflicting reasons and reasons that I don't exactly think are right to be going this far with. Especially on our allied front, we're attacking our neighbors, especially Canada, who, as I said, we get a lot of our power from here in Vermont. But we've also been attacking our allies, Denmark. We've been threatening Greenland. We've been aggressive towards the UK and Europe with tariffs. And I think that we're making a bit of a fool of ourselves on the international stage. We're showing.
I'll stop it. Sorry about that, you guys. Sorry about that. I wasn't sure how that was going to go out. We'll start bidding video.
Called to watch. It's a real accident caught on tape. Fortunately, our client.
That's on the first one.
Certainly by now you've been read in on the #1 story in the world, which is that a U.S. fighter jet, a sophisticated weapons platform, one of the best in the world, was shot down by an Iranian regime that has extremely degraded equipment. They can't defend their own shores or skies at this moment. They have been reduced to a diminishing number of suicide drones. But how are they able to shoot down our weapons platforms, $100 million weapons platforms? Thank God one of the crew members has survived and been rescued by American forces. The second is still unaccounted for, and we pray for their safety that this doesn't turn into a hostage situation. However, how did this turn into a situation at all? The Iranian province where this F-15 fighter jet was shot down is not a particularly populous area. It is a remote part of Iran. It is a sheep herder part of Iran, farming, agrarian. That's the majority of the country. And it raises the question, what exactly happened here? How was this regime able to shoot down one of our aircraft when it could barely shoot its own missiles? Here's footage from yesterday of the Iranian forces firing a missile at themselves here effectively. They shoot a missile and it launches, and then it falls directly onto Iranian territory and explodes in their own suburb. So Iran just bombed itself. Again, there's been quite a few military missteps here for Iran. They have proven themselves not to be a military force. So how did they get this jet to crash? An unbelievable breakdown here that we found on X, how Iran actually hit a U.S. stealth jet. Right now, every news channel is asking the same question. How did Iranian missile manage to track fighter jet so advanced? Let's go ahead and watch. I think this will fill in.
Iran actually hit a US F-35 stealth jet. Every news channel right now is blowing up with the exact same question. How in the world did a tiny Iranian missile manage to target a fighter jet that even Russia's billion-dollar radar systems can't spot? Let's break down exactly what went down. First, take a look at this beast, the Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II. The absolute boss of fifth-generation aviation. The US dropped over $100 million a pop to design this thing to slip right past enemy radar and cruise into hostile territory without breaking a sweat. Its main job? Wiping out enemy air defenses and totally dominating the skies. And to pull that off, it uses the most insane, top-secret stealth tech on the planet. The F-35 had an 8-year combat streak, never shot hit, not even once. So the big question is, what is the ultimate weak spot of the world's most advanced fighter jet? How did Iran figure it out and do what even Russia and China couldn't? Look, nowadays, anti-aircraft systems mostly use two ways to guide their missiles: radar and heat-seeking. Now, the F-35 is an absolute master at dodging radar. Because of its crazy shape and radar-absorbing materials, its radar footprint is so tiny that billion-dollar missile systems like the S-300 and S-400 just can't lock onto it. The radar signal literally just doesn't bounce back. But every superhero has a weakness, right? The F-35 packs a single engine called the Pratt & Whitney F135. It's one of the most powerful fighter engines in the world. But with all that power comes a massive amount of heat. And that insane heat? That's its biggest flaw. The date was March 19th, 2026, 2:50 a.m. Central Iran. Instead of relying on radar for their modern defense, Iran was using something called an infrared search and track system, or IRST. These systems scan the sky looking for heat signatures. And sure enough, this system quickly picked up the super hot exhaust coming from the F-35's engine. The scariest part? IRST doesn't send out any signals of its own, so the F-35 pilot had zero clue he was even locked onto. Now let's talk about Iran's weapon. The missile used in this attack is believed to be the 358 missile, also known as the SA-67. And this thing is seriously sneaky. It's not your average surface-to-air missile. It's a weird mashup, half kamikaze drone, half missile. It flies super slow and just loiters around a specific area, flying in a figure-8 pattern. It has its own optical and heat sensors built right in. It basically just hangs out and waits. And the second it catches the heat of a jet, it pounces. The craziest thing is that the 358 can be guided by a network of infrared sensors on the ground. But hold up. Just because there was no radar warning doesn't mean the F-35 is a sitting duck when a missile is launched. This jet is packed with a super advanced distributed aperture system, or DAS. It's got 6 infrared cameras that give the pilot a full 360-degree view around the plane. The second that 358 missile hit the gas and its rocket motor started giving off heat, the DAS caught it and instantly gave a warning alarm in the pilot's headset. Now the pilot only has seconds to react. To break the missile's lock, the pilot yanks the jet into high G turns to confuse it. At the same time, the jet starts pumping out flares. The whole point is to trick the missile's sensor, so it ditches the jet and chases those glowing flares instead. And it worked. The 358 missile falls for the flares. It still flies incredibly close to the jet. The moment the missile senses it's super close to the target, inside its lethal radius, it just blows up mid-air. The shockwave and high-speed shrapnel from that blast shred the F-35. It completely strips away the stealth coating and wrecks the flight control systems. It wasn't a direct hit that turned the jet into a fireball. And that's exactly why, even with massive damage, the pilot managed to pull off a safe emergency landing. Iran proved that you don't need a billion-dollar radar to bring down America's most advanced jet. So guys, what's your take on how modern warfare...
Okay, so this is just a fascinating breakdown here, and it...
Your ancestors' lives are just a search away.
Warrior Strong unlocks breakthroughs, discovers solutions, and
kind of begs the question, and want to thank Ruby 3D for this research, and link to the channel in the description here. Extremely well done. And while this was a F-15E that is currently down in Iran, the F-35, which is a next generation But nonetheless, the principles would still apply. How do you solve for such a design flaw? I mean, how do you solve for jet heat signatures? They've done so, obviously, with the stealth bombers, mainly through altitude, I mean, quite frankly. But how do you do that for an average fighter jet? How do you do that for your combat and tactical fighter jets that need to make much more weighty and abrupt and dirty engagements near the ground? I don't know. A viral Chinese video breaks down exactly how Iran could shoot down F-35s using mobile infrared defense systems. Chinese civilians are volunteering technical knowledge here.
如何用伊朗现有的装备击落 F-35？这道题怎么解呢？要把大题拆成小题，再用排除法来解。
This video going viral as well. This generation fighter jet. How do you blow it up? Let's begin. You effectively have to be able to track the heat footprint, and you need to be able to then have a missile that can blow up in range of the actual jet itself. It does the same thing. So this is how it happened. How do you solve for this? I don't know. I'm not sure. Look at this. Chinese video is going viral online, breaking down how Iran could target F-35 Lightning II with existing equipment by simply solving a step-by-step problem. The speaker argues that the air combat isn't realistic given Iran's aging fleet and decades old F-14s. Instead, focuses on ground-based air defense systems. He contrasts large systems with smaller ones using infrared tracking. Harder to detect and survive longer. The video is a major part of a wider phenomenon in China as the Middle East conflict unfolds. Civilians are volunteering without pay their technical skills on social media to help Iran. That's the real question here, right? It's real battles with China. So interesting times. There's flaws in every single system. If you know about these systems, and I live in Tampa, which is right near CENTCOM, I know fighter pilots, they're my neighbors. I really look forward to speaking with them about this. I talk to them about fighter pilot problems all the time, and this is certainly one of them. Let me know in the comment section what you think. It's your boy Benny. See ya.
I think that was the best one this week on Benny. What do you guys think? Okay, I got one short Derek video.
What's up, everybody? Derek Johnson here. So obviously, TikTok has removed my live access again. So they're still violating First Amendment and laws and orders, which are straight up all public laws and orders. So they're violating that. They removed my live access. They quit the video as I was rolling there. So I appreciate everybody watching, and I appreciate what all you do out there. For sharing my content and sharing just straight up an Army veteran doing what I'm supposed to be doing, upholding my oath, not only to the Constitution, but to the branch that I served in, the United States Army, but also to my family, my state, my friends, and the people of the United States. So I appreciate you watching. I'm very disappointed in TikTok. But then again, we are still in the continuity of government by law, which means we're still in the military occupation. Military operation by law. So there must be a reason behind that, that TikTok is still being watched, probably because of where they are and who it is and all this stuff that's going on. So I do appreciate it. And I'll do as many videos as I can. I did put in an appeal for that, so we'll see what happens. But it's the same thing that's been happening. Every TikTok I've had to remake and redo. I've lost millions of followers because of this violation of my freedom of expression. So I highly encourage everybody to go find me on all of my official accounts. I'll put up my link tree here. That way you can see me writing it on here because there's so many frauds and fakes out there. So I'll do that. I'll just write this out right here. That way you know it's me. All right, 1776 Nation. And then go check out all my official accounts, and then you can get on. You can actually get on social media that doesn't bar and ban people for their First Amendment and freedom of expression of just simply telling the laws. All right, so Linktree, LINKTR period. So the period always goes between the R and the first E. E backslash. I did ran out of room, but it's one thing. 1776 Nation. So there's no space or anything. I just ran out of room. So 1776 Nation. I put line.
So he was just saying about his TikTok channel got knocked off. I'm playing Dallas News Lady real quick, and then we'll get to Cash video. I go to 7 tonight. One show today, I guess.
Program combines flexible online coursework with hands-on clinical.
I'm Christina Wallace, and here are your top stories. Zohran Mamdani is being sued for $65 million for calling pro-USA protesters white supremacists, while not saying anything about the Muslim terrorists who threw bombs at the protesters. The Crusader legal team says they prepared the defamation lawsuit against socialist Mayor Mamdani after the Muslim mayor labeled Jake Lang, a conservative activist, a white supremacist following the protest outside of Gracie Mansion. The quote-unquote Stop the Islamic Takeover of New York City was held outside the mayor's official home in what's being described as a peaceful Christian protest, highlighting concerns over radical Islam's takeover of the U.S. Anti-American counter-protesters then joined the fray. And along with them, Ibrahim Qayyumi, 19 years old, and Imar Balak, 18 years old. The Muslims threw improvised explosive devices, IEDs, at the conservative protesters. The NYPD and FBI classified the attack as, quote, ISIS-inspired terrorism. Mamdani immediately called the protesters white supremacists while saying nothing about the Islamic terror attack carried out by the Muslims. Critics are saying that Mamdani blamed white supremacy and Islamophobia for a failed Islamic terror attack on predominantly white people. All right, it's time for a quick break from news. So I can tell you about how to get the right Medicare plan for you without spending a dime and saving time, money, and frustration. It's a company I've partnered with, Chapter. They are experts. They know all about the changes that were made this year and can navigate everything for you. All you have to do is take 20 minutes out of your day for a quick phone call. They'll do all the work to find you the plan that is best for you. Plus, they're salary-based, so you don't have to worry about pressure or only getting a plan because they're getting kickbacks. The call is free. They'll walk you through step by step and could save you a lot of money. So call 347-960-3244 or go to chapter.org/Christina. That's 347-960-3244 or go to chapter.org/Christina. Chapter. Virginia public schools are allowing migrant men to enroll in their high schools up to the age of 22, tuition-free, right after an illegal migrant sexually assaulted nearly a dozen high school students in Fairfax County. The policy states, quote, school boards may accept and provide programs for students for whom English is a second language who entered school in Virginia for the first time after reaching their 12th birthday and who have not reached 22 years of age. No tuition shall be charged to such students if state funding is provided for such programs. Critics are warning that the move is putting younger American students in danger. The number of migrants in Virginia schools hit about 146,000 last year, which is 12% of K through 12 enrollment. This is up 24% since 2021-2022. State funding has also increased. A proposal for an additional $110 million more in taxpayer dollars to pay for the adult illegal migrants was introduced. Recently, in Fairfax County, parents were furious after a 19-year-old illegal migrant from El Salvador allegedly groped high school girls between their legs from front to back. He is facing 9 counts of assault and battery. There are multiple other instances of male illegal migrants attacking high school girls, like Walter Javier Martinez, an MS-13 gang member from El Salvador. He's an illegal migrant who came into the country as an unaccompanied minor. In July of 2022, he raped, strangled, and murdered 20-year-old Kyla Hamilton in Aberdeen, Maryland. Police identified him as the main suspect immediately. He was subsequently put in foster care and allowed to enroll in Edgewood High School in October of 2022. He attended classes for months while the murder investigation was active. The school was never informed by Child Protective Services. He later enrolled in additional Maryland public high schools. Martinez was convicted and sentenced to 70 years in prison. Israel Flores Ortiz from El Salvador. He is an illegal migrant who came into the country in 2024 and was released. At 19 years old, he enrolled as a junior at Fairfax High School in Fairfax County, Virginia. He was charged with those 9 counts of assault and battery after allegedly groping 12 female girls, some as young as 13. Darren Martinez Torres from El Salvador. In June of 2017, 22-year-old Torres raped and murdered a 17-year-old sophomore at South Lakes High School in Western Virginia. He beat her with a baseball bat after she walked with friends near a mosque during Ramadan, then raped her while she was unconscious and dumped her body in a pond. He pleaded guilty to rape and capital murder and received multiple life sentences without parole. Henry Sanchez Milian from Guatemala and Jose Montano from El Salvador. In March of 2017, both recent enrollees at Rockville High School in Maryland were initially charged with first-degree rape and sexual offenses against a 14-year-old female classmate. Police allege they forced her into a boys' bathroom stall during school hours and assaulted her. Prosecutors later dropped the rape charges due to lack of cooperation. Johan Isao Lemus Ramos from Honduras in 2022, shortly after illegally crossing the border, he raped a 13-year-old girl in Herndon, Virginia. He later threatened her with nude photos to force additional sex acts. He was sentenced to 5 years in federal prison. Christian Giovanni from Ecuador. In June of 2024, the 25-year-old walked up to 2 13-year-old girls in Queens, New York. He allegedly threatened them with a machete-style knife, forced them into a wooded area, tied them up, gagged them, and raped one while sexually assaulting both. He stole their phones and fled. He was charged with predatory sexual assault, first-degree rape, criminal sexual act, kidnapping, robbery, and related felonies. He faces up to 25 years in prison. Eric Santillan from Mexico. In June of 2022, in Tennessee, he was accused of aggravated rape of a 15-year-old girl. He was arrested in late 2023 after being located in South Carolina. Johan Jose Martinez Rangel, 22, and Franklin Jose Peña Ramos, 26. They killed Jocelyn Nungary, a 12-year-old girl in 6th grade. Her body was found in the morning in a shallow creek or bayou under a bridge near West Rankin Road. The illegals raped her for 2 hours before killing her and dumping her body in the creek. The Harris County Medical Examiner ruled the death a homicide by strangulation, with forensic evidence confirming sexual assault prior to the killing. Both were apprehended near El Paso in early 2024, released into the U.S. by the Biden administration with notices to appear in immigration court, and charged with the murder just weeks later. One had been in the country for less than 3 weeks before the murder. Both faced capital murder, kidnapping, and aggravated sexual assault charges. Rafael Jovea Romero, a 23-year-old illegal migrant from Mexico. He was on probation for a prior felony burglary conviction at the time of the murder and had an ICE detainer lodged against him after arrest. He killed Lisbeth Inges Medina, a 16-year-old girl and cheerleader at Edna High School in Texas. Romero stabbed Lisbeth about 25 times in the bathtub of her family's apartment. Her mother, Jacqueline Medina, discovered her body after Lisbeth failed to show up for a school Christmas parade performance. Romero was indicted on capital murder, aggravated robbery, and burglary charges. In September of last year, he pleaded guilty to murder, aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon, and burglary of a habitation. He received 2 concurrent life sentences plus 20 years, making him eligible for parole after 30 years. The plea deal spared him the death penalty, drawing sharp criticism from Lisbeth's mother. House Republicans are furious after senators snuck $500,000 in guaranteed payouts for fellow members in the DHS funding bill. Senate Majority Leader John Thune snuck a last-minute provision into the bill that allows senators who were targets of Arctic frost to sue the federal government for at least $500,000 per violation if their phone records were seized without notice. 8 senators were targeted in former special counsel Jack Smith's investigation into the 2020 election. The language, which is buried in Section 213, gives senators the right to sue the U.S. for violations of Senate data notification rules. And if that senator wins, they have to be awarded at least $500,000 per violation, unless the DOJ settles the Arctic Frost lawsuit first. The rule applies retroactively to any data seizures on or after January 1st, 2022, tailored to cover the 2023 subpoenas issued in Arctic Frost. Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley exposed that the FBI secretly acquired phone metadata from multiple Republican lawmakers without telling them, using grand jury subpoenas and non-disclosure orders. Speaker Mike Johnson called the provision sneaky and a bad look, with the House later passing measures, sometimes unanimously, to strip it out. Representative Chip Roy and others said it was, quote unquote, self-dealing that undermined GOP credibility during shutdown fights over spending. Even some of the senators, like Senator Dan Sullivan, said they had no plans to sue for monetary damages. Thune and Senator Lindsey Graham have vowed to sue and blocked some repeal efforts, with Senator Marsha Blackburn saying, quote, "We will not rest until justice is served, and those who were involved in this weaponization of government are held accountable." Conservatives argue if the DOJ can secretly spy on sitting senators questioning an election, what chance do ordinary citizens have? That's what you need to know in Dallas.
That's another good one from Dallas Lady News Update. I'm going to play some short ones before we get to the next 15. Four minutes.
Burchett from Tennessee and Representative Gates were on a small codel to the Panhandle because a whistleblower came forward from Eglin Air Force Base pilots to Representative Gates' office saying that the Air Force was essentially covering up UAP activity and we needed to look into it. So we coordinated the meeting. Pentagon tried to initially cancel the first one. We got it back on the books. We show up there and we get in, and the base commander tried to basically tell us that we didn't have authorized clearance to look into and speak to some of the witnesses, of which you don't tell Congress that we don't have authorized clearance, especially members of House Armed Services, Oversight, and Judiciary. So I kind of had it out with the base commander, which is kind of funny because this guy really thought that he had it going on. And he actually, in the middle of our meeting, he took off on leave, which never happens with a delegation going to military base. But then also too, we had pretty sure people from the agency that were there as well. And so you really don't find that. I've worked at Hurlburt Field. I worked in the military for a number of years. And so why would a intelligence agency need to be there on a meeting for whistleblowers? So that happened. I can tell you, based on my investigations, not in a classified setting, that I absolutely believe that there is things that are advanced technologies not of human origin. And then we conducted the interview with David Grush. As you saw, it was one of the most widely attended congressional hearings in U.S. history. The information that was brought forward was particularly alarming because you're hearing about people that have potentially been murdered and covering up this information. And it was very interesting. So I advise everyone to watch it.
Yeah. Was it, so based off of what, and have you received classified information or just what they said?
No, yeah, but I can't talk about that.
Of course you can't talk about it. So what did you, before you came to Congress, did you think aliens were real?
So I wouldn't call them aliens. I really like what Grush calls it. He says that they're interdimensional beings, and he's very specific about that. What does that mean? I think it means that they're not necessarily a biological entity from another planet per se.
Interesting.
What I will say is, I share a Christian perspective on many things. And what's been interesting about this is the amount of stigma that existed previously to this cycle. But we have such a bipartisan push for transparency on this topic that they can't necessarily hide it. It has been interesting to see the levels of things that come up. Oh, there's no authorized clearance. You don't have the read-in authority for this, that, and the other. Well, if Congress is writing the bills to fund these programs, yet we don't have authorized access and oversight into it, then that's not necessarily something that happens in a free country, right? So we continue to push. But it's been very interesting to see some of the stuff that's come up.
Was it before you learned it? Did you think it was going to be completely different than what you learned? Was it?
No, I had some suspicions leading up into it. When I was stationed at Portland Air Guard Unit a number of years ago, I remember there was a incident that occurred, and the pilots kind of came back, and I asked one of them what he thought it was, and he couldn't really talk about it. He didn't want to, because the stigma that the military has is that you're crazy, right? But we're seeing that with especially technology that we have, even, you know, your iPhone, for example, you can record things and it's not necessarily going to be classified. So, you know, I kind of knew about it. I knew that that was a thing within the military and that people were kind of worried about talking about it. But I think now, especially with transparency, we hope that more people come forward. You know, the people that have come forward are credible. We've done the background checks on them. They're not, you know, tin hat wearing kooks. Right. But, you know, historically, there's a lot there that's to uncover. And I suggest that everyone look into it on their own.
Okay, that was a alien update. Call that one. So I want to put two more of the new lady that we saw read up from yesterday. These two clips she put up has over 100,000 views.
In this moment, realizing,
did we play this one or not?
He's yesterday about to be a fall guy. This is the face of a man who really thought that he earned the position of Secretary of Defense, a disgraced National Guardsman who I believe was dishonorably discharged, thought that he had the stuff to head off the military, all of the military. Not once did it occur to him that there would be a price to pay, that he wasn't just going to be able to play out Call of Duty and have all of his fantasies come true for nothing. Not once did it occur to him that being permitted to bomb fishermen and allowing him to get drunker and drunker off of his own power,
I don't know. She's saying
was going to have a price.
I'm not sure about that clip because it seems like she was saying negative things about Pete. You guys want me to continue playing that one? Really, Jay? Wow. Good to see you. Hope everything's good. We're still standing our own ground, not giving up. Kay will be back shortly. Happy Good Friday, everybody. So let me guys know if you guys want me to stop this one. Yeah, Kay will be back shortly, I hope. So I'm not sure about this one, though.
Take his best stab at manifestation. And when I was going through the Epstein files, I was very surprised by some of the emails, specifically between Epstein and Bannon. They seemed to be the most candid with each other, very comfortable with each other. They spoke frequently, lots of shorthand. There was one series of emails that sticks out in my memory where they would send each other articles all the time on whatever topic. It could have been something Middle East related. And it was about how it might affect this specific policy that they're pushing. I remember in one email where one sends it to the other and the other one says, yeah, but it's this publication that nobody reads. And the other one says, no, look at the stats on the readership here, even though it was like a no-name publication. And the other one makes a remark about how much he must have dug to get that. And the consensus between them was that that's good enough. And it seemed to me like the sentiment was, as long as we can get enough people thinking, like there's a critical mass of people that have to think the way that we think, believe what we're telling them to believe, then the thing will come true, then the thing that we want will happen. And then that reminds me of when my dad would say that TV is terrible, don't watch TV, because there's a reason why they call it programming. If they can get enough people's attention focused on the same thing, and then they're pushing whatever agendas on even sitcoms, right? They're normalizing this, or they're making this seem like his biggest thing, or not biggest thing, but the thing that he would say to me when I was a kid was that, like, they're trying to normalize kids being rude to their parents, for example, because these kids would be like, you know how the Nickelodeon kids were. And they were like engendering a reverence for your parents. Like, who are you? And like acting like parents are dumb. And like, I couldn't unsee it. Anyway, that's what it is, right? And so that's how propaganda works too. You just need enough people thinking the same thing, and then it becomes true. Trump is on record saying something along the lines of, if I say something enough times, it'll become true. The person who was relaying that story said that they did not get the impression that he meant that the more I say it, the more I'll convince myself that it becomes true. They said he said it in such a way that was conveying that it becomes fact. If I say it enough, it becomes fact. And so that's what I feel like Pete Hegseth is doing. Every time he comes and does some kind of press conference, a briefing, using words like, we're laser focused, precision strikes, air domination, water domination, right? Like, he's just saying words. He's not even speaking in complete sentences. He's just repeating the same words. Like he is an astrology girly and he's trying his hand at manifestation. And if I say it enough times, it becomes true. It doesn't even have to be a cogent thought. It doesn't even have to be a complete sentence. I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to say the words, and it'll be programmed in people's heads, because that's they're half listening, cooking, washing dishes while this is on, whatever the fuck, and they'll hear precision strike and air domination and that kind of thing, and then it'll become true. Anyway, I think he's trying to do witchcraft. And then also, didn't you have the other one, the AI one, giving a AI briefing just yesterday, really strangely saying that Jesus, something about the devil will defeat Jesus. If you're evil enough and you just persevere, you will win over good. Evil will conquer. What? You know, I feel like those two things are related. Weird, very weird thing to put out into the universe, in my opinion. Don't tell me that the full context of that was that he was trying to say that Iran is the evil one, and you know, if they just persevere enough, they could beat out the good guy. And so that's why we all have to focus our energies. I don't care if that's what he meant. It's an interesting thing to say. Because another thing that I learned from the Epstein files is that they believe that if they put the things out there, they are free of the karmic retribution for it. If they don't do it behind closed doors, then they are free from karmic retribution for it. These people are very woo-woo, which is why you had them talking about Pizzagate before we found out about this, the Epstein files, before they came out, partially came out. It's why there's all those like Balenciaga ads and that weirdo artist lady that does the soul cooking or the fuck, whatever the fuck it's called, that all of the celebrities go to.
Go to 7 o'clock.
Many people have said is satanic or something, whatever the connotation for it, very negative. But they put that stuff out there in your face so that they can be free of the karmic retribution for it. It's legitimately what they think. Which is why you have KKK Caroline every day saying that Donald Trump is the most transparent president. He's transparent. He's a blah, blah. You got Mike Johnson saying that he doesn't have a problem with the enrichment that the Trumps are doing, because the only reason he had a problem with the Biden crime family was because they were doing it behind closed doors. And as long as it's out in the open, it's fine. It's cleansed in the light of day. So anyway, I think that Pete Hegseth is trying to do magic or witchcraft, or he's trying to manifest by getting out there, trying to get everyone's attention focused on we're winning, we're winning, we're winning, we're winning. If I say it enough times, then it becomes true. I can stand outside on Fifth Avenue, shoot someone, and nothing will happen to me. Something to that effect. Fast forward, and here we are. And how many times over the course of the last however many months, even, we don't even have to extend to years, have we collectively said about some event that they're using to flood the zone? Man, he really did say that he could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot someone and no one would care. That his cultists wouldn't be swayed. He said it. He said it. It was repeated over and over and over. His opponents repeated it. It was printed in black and white, in ink, like all over the place. It's magic. I think they're doing magic. Because as long as he says it enough times and enough people hold it in their minds, it becomes reality. But they just shot down an F-35 stealth bomber. I don't know if Pete Hegseth is doing the magic right. P.S. That's also why they wanted to get rid of this app. It's harder to control and do the little witchcraft. All of us are on here talking about real shit. Wait, Pete, I think that there might be some kind of rule that you can't generate the things that you say through ChatGPT because then it's artificial. You can't do witchcraft that way. Everybody knows that. Oh, and happy Persian New Year. Today's the first day of the year. Love you, bye.
Yeah, I don't know how the heck she gets over 100,000 views, Maria. I don't really like her that much, so I don't know if I play her anymore or not. Okay, we got an 8-minute Billy Bean.
Well, you have a problem. Today I'm learning how a cracked wall might...
Welcome to Truth by Billy Bean. Today's date, April 3, 2026. Time in Texas about 4 p.m. Happy Good Friday. And we thank God the Father for sending God the Son, Jesus, whom many call Yeshua, to reconcile us back to God and to save our souls. And we're hearing in New York City that the mayor of New York City, Mandami, we know who is a Muslim, gave an Easter message and didn't mention the name of Jesus Christ. So that's going on from space weather. We had a CME hit the Earth today. We're currently in a strong G3 geomagnetic storm. That's likely to give us auroras down to about the middle of the U.S. And we have Artemis 2 breaking away from the gravity of the U.S. on its way in its historic mission to travel around the moon, see the dark side of the moon, and return to the Earth about April 10 near San Diego, California. So we pray Godspeed for Artemis 2. So let's get started. We're hearing this morning about an event in Iran where an F-15 Strike Eagle went down, and it went down in Iran near this would be its northwest area, Kurdistan, near the Zagros Mountains, adjoining Iraq, boundary-wise. We had an F-15 Strike Eagle go down. That happened this morning. We had both the pilot and the weapons pilot also both ejecting from the F-15E that then hit the ground as in pieces, has been identified by the U.S. military as an F-15E. Immediately, search and rescue was launched by the U.S. military. The pilot was found alive and rescued this morning. The second co-pilot is believed to be alive and somewhere located in this Zagros mountain area. Many search and rescue U.S. military vehicles are ardently looking for him, and we're hearing that there was a firefight, the first firefight on the ground between U.S. Special Forces and whoever is fighting on behalf of Iran in connection with the search and rescue mission. So it's good to be in prayer for that, for the U.S. military, and to locate safely that second co-pilot on the F-15 Strike Eagle. We're also hearing reports that at the same time that the F-15E went down, and we don't have official U.S. military statements about what took that F-15 down, whether it was hit or whether it was a mechanical problem, we don't know yet. But at the same time that it went down in this area, Kurdistan, we had a A-10, a Warthog, also go down into the water near the Strait of Hormuz. The pilot safely ejected and has been rescued. So that's going on. And what's going on in Russia is that all of their banks are down. All of their banks are offline. As today, Russia was trying to take down in a nationwide way Telegram, and then its banks went down. So customers cannot get online with their bank. And we understand at the physical banks, there are also problems for the customers getting money out with their ATMs and so on. So that's going on. And we've also had in the last 24 hours, Sweden boarding and taking possession of a Russian oil tanker in the Baltic Sea. From Alex Christoforo, we have Europe saying Europe is going to create its own military independent of NATO to then go into Ukraine to fight Russia. Good luck with that, Europe. And we have this, that early on, this conflict began in Iran, February 28. About March 10, the leader of France, Macron, and the leader of Italy, Marconi, authorized
Get Ahead of Lead. It's a new initiative to help families reduce lead in their drinking water.
its representatives to begin secret talks with the IRGC to secure safe passage for French and Italian ships through the Strait of Hormuz. So, yeah, that's coming out. And we have this. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth in the last 24 hours has fired 12 U.S. generals, including the Army top general Randy George. And it's believed President Trump ordered this because these generals were not aligned with America, President Trump, and the U.S. military. And we have this, that Iran has also, in the past 24 hours, hit the several AI data centers in the Middle East, Amazon and Bahrain. It's believed causing $1 billion plus in damages, plus OpenAI located in the UAE, plus hit an oil refinery in Kuwait. We know that in the past 48 hours, the U.S. has hit a bridge in Tehran, a B-1 bridge that was not open to the Iranian people. It was a private bridge used by the IRGC to travel between Tehran and Karachi. So that's been taken out of operations. So this concludes my flash. I love you, and I'll see you soon.
Okay, that was your flash. Man, I got like 4 to 5 good clips I gotta play. I hope I get them all in. Well, we're gonna go to 7, and tomorrow the first show will be at 12. My game's on at 8:30 tomorrow night. Big one, the final 4. So we're going to do cast big video. $20.
F-15 fighter jet. This is a U.S. fighter jet. We are also told a statement from CENTCOM is expected shortly. We want to bring in the chief national security correspondent.
Oh, man,
Jennifer
you can
Griffin
see
with
the
more on this.
choppers
Jen,
trying to find the pilots.
Well, Trace, we had some details of this alleged down F-15E fighter jet that went down in southwest Iran. It's in the province that is actually closest to Karg Island, which we've been hearing so much about. We had withheld reporting on this until now because there was an active search and rescue operation ongoing. But now that we've learned that the president has been briefed on the downed F-15, we are getting some details from open source online showing that the actual pilot seat from the F-15 was seen on the ground, suggesting that at least one of the pilots had ejected, and the pilot was not present at that site where the photo was taken.
Thank God,
so
it
that
would have been
suggests
captured.
that one may have survived at least. There are 2 pilots in an F-15E, and they would have been flying. We see also some open source video showing that there were 2 search and rescue helicopters that were being refueled midair in daylight.
This clip right
that
here
would suggest, again, an urgency to that search and rescue mission, because it would be rare to conduct a search and rescue mission with low-flying helicopters over an area that is possibly contested. Given that this happened during the daylight hours, it shows an urgency and a suggestion that the pilots may have survived. Trace?
And the thing you got to understand, the aircraft that was shot down, it's the F-15E Strike Eagle. This is the multi-role version of the F-15 that can do ground attack missions. You have 2 pilots, and the country's praying they're okay.
All right, so we have a little bit of an update on the downed pilots that went down in Iran. Apparently, according to an article written by Axios 20 minutes ago as I'm recording this video, both crew members of the F-15 Echo Strike Eagle were able to eject safely.
Okay,
and
that's
U.S.
good.
Special Forces located and rescued 1 crew member alive in Iranian territory, while the search and rescue operation for the 2nd crew member is still ongoing. Now, the White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt confirmed to Axios that the president has been briefed on this. Meanwhile, Iran is also actively hunting for the crew, which means this last pilot is in a rough spot. The combat search and rescue operation is still underway, and also apparently Israeli officials told Axios that they canceled planned strikes in the relevant areas of Iran to avoid interfering or endangering the ongoing U.S. search and rescue efforts.
Man.
So this is a rapidly developing situation right now. A lot of new information keeps coming out. Hopefully we'll get some information about the 2nd pilot soon.
So the good news is that the U.S. has air supremacy over Iran. What that means is that even though there is a pilot on the run who has not been rescued yet, thank God we got one of the pilots, the ability of Iran to send helicopters or mobile units, even a large convoy of vehicles to go and try to locate this individual, that's going to be limited because we have eyes and ears all over the battlefield. And there's a good chance that right now we know where that pilot is. And someone can see them from a drone, from an aircraft, from the devices they carry with them to broadcast their signal once they are in enemy territory and need to be rescued. Apparently, Iranian state media has video out of people apparently looking to try and find these pilots. They've sent out a reward. Look at this. This is the environment on the ground, allegedly. This is so crazy. I would not want to be out there right now. You don't know if the folks who find you, if it's not the rescue crew, are going to be friendly.
What do we know about Iranian television? How credible is it, and how much concern is that people are being told to do certain things inside the country?
Yeah, they told them to go find
Iranian
the pilots.
media, as you know, Trace, is state-controlled. It is a propaganda network that would have an interest, and we have seen over the last 32 days or so that they have put out multiple times that they had shot down F-35 fighter jets, and it had not been true. That is why it was so important for us to get independent confirmation that this F-15 had in fact gone down. So some of the details that the Iranians are putting out may in fact be propaganda for their purposes. But what we can say at this point is the President of the United States has been briefed on this F-15 going down, and that CENTCOM is expected to put out a statement. So we feel comfortable in reporting the fact that that the F-15 did go down.
I don't think President Trump's going to let them get away with downing a fighter and holding U.S. hostages.
That one has been rescued and is getting medical attention as we speak. We don't know if it was a male or a female pilot. As we've reported in the past, there are both men and women flying these F-15Es. But that is the latest and very good news, of course, that at least one of the two crew members did survive. Kaylee?
And Jennifer, quickly, we just have a few moments here. Our thoughts immediately go to that second pilot. I imagine the search, rescue, it is ongoing. Any news on the second pilot?
There is no news at this point in time, but as you can imagine, we've seen the images of the Pavehawk helicopters. Those are the Special Forces helicopters that are part of that search and rescue mission. They were being air refueled over in daylight over the contested area. We've seen the image of the pilot's seat and the parachute that was part of the ejection mechanism. It looks like that worked, and that is very good news. But the Iranians have put out a reward for that second American, or for both Americans. And so it is a very, very tenuous time right now, but those crew members and pilots would have been given SEER training, survival and evasion training. And we are now thinking of them, thinking of their families, and hoping that as the sun goes down now over Iran,
I wonder
that
what they're
it will be
gonna do.
easier for the search and rescue operation to continue and to find that second crew member.
Because conceivably, if the pilot is visible, if they could be picked up, it's just a matter of time before an extraction force goes in and gets them. And we all hope that they are not captured and taken hostage. We know what happened to British pilots when their Tornado was shot down during Desert Storm, and they were taken hostage by the Iraqis. So we don't want something similar like that to happen to our pilots here, that's for sure. But one thing we know is the pilots both ejected. The ejection seats were found empty. That gives us hope. And right now, all over X, there are videos of these helicopters flying around, so they know that there is somebody out there.
We now bring in Matthew Wiz Buckley, retired Navy fighter pilot and Top Gun graduate. Sir, your thoughts as we receive the good news that one of the pilots, one of the two crew members of the downed F-15 has been rescued and is safe, sir.
They're in enemy territory.
Well, it makes my heart smile. Obviously, anytime we have aircraft down and air crew missing, my thoughts and prayers go out to them. But look, we need one more. When this happened, the combat search and rescue teams of the United States Air Force, some of the most elite on the face of this planet, immediately sprang into action, and they will not sleep until we know the status of the second air crew. They could be injured. They could be evading, as Jennifer just alluded to. We go through SEER training, survival of evasion, resistance, and escape, or they might just be hiding out for a bit. So we don't know. But seeing the clips of a C-130, the on-scene commander, essentially the tanker, the command and control, they also have para PJs on board that could jump out to potentially rescue, and then the Pedros or the Jolly Green helicopters. We obviously have air superiority if we're operating at that low altitude looking for this second air crew.
Matthew, we only have a few moments, but the information I want to know immediately is, was this pilot at the site of the wreckage, perhaps with the other pilot, or was this pilot discovered away from the wreckage and they're trying to retrace the steps to the other pilot?
Your day-to-day covered with Base 44 super agents. Your life is chaotic.
Well, it's a great question. I'm not going to dig into too much of the secret squirrel stuff that goes on from an ejection and winds and the area that the search and rescue folks are looking in. But it should be, the second air crew should be around there. But if they ejected in a dynamic situation, the jet was out of control, they might be further apart. It depends on a lot of factors that I just don't want to dig into.
You got to remember, this plane is flying through the air. And depending on when people get out, depending on, what direction the wind might take one person's chute, how soon the chute's open, they could be separated by miles.
News out of the war with Iran. By now, you've likely heard that an F-15E was shot down over Iran. The U.S. confirms that, but just a few minutes ago, we have heard that the U.S. confirmed that one of those pilots has been rescued. Now, the F-15E is a fighter bomber, essentially. It's a pretty big aircraft. It can carry multiple 2,000-pound bombs. It's got a pretty long range. It has 2 seats. So one is a pilot, one is a weapons systems operator. We know that one of those people, we don't know which, has been rescued. And also by now, you've probably seen lots of videos online of a pretty extensive search and rescue operation. Now, the pilots themselves are kitted out with special devices that can alert U.S. aircraft and personnel where they are, basically like advanced GPS devices. They've also been trained tactically in survival skills.
What we don't know is if this second pilot, if they're hiding from, let's say, a group of people who might be looking for them, they might not be able to broadcast their signal because it might give away their location. It might not be safe for them to come out and get picked up right away. There have been reports in the past of pilots being shot down over enemy territory who spend time in cover waiting for the coast to be clear so that they can even alert our guys to their presence and get picked up. We don't know what their situation is right now. I'm so thankful they found one person. That is such an accomplishment right there. And the other thing you have to understand, there have been thousands of sorties over this country, and this is the first downing of a U.S. jet. Of course, this is not a good thing, but this by no means means that the United States is losing the war. This by no means means that Iran is somehow not on its last legs as far as the regime is concerned. The chance of a plane getting shot down has always existed. And I think that even though we're looking at a situation where a pilot is missing, one pilot has been rescued. And although there was always a chance this could happen, the fact that it has only happened once so far is a testament to how successful this operation has been.
So they'll know to hide, they'll know how to take cover. They'll probably have a little bit of food and water on them at
some
the time
MREs.
of their ejection from the airplane, if both of them did manage to survive the plane being taken down. You're going to see videos out there of Black Hawk helicopters being refueled. They are part of the search and rescue operation. You might also see AC-10 Warthogs. Those are fixed-wing planes that can fly low and slow. They have really heavy machine guns that can blast anything on the ground. If they can see that the pilots are in trouble.
Right. That's a big part of this, is the air supremacy that the United States has over Iran right now. If there are armored vehicles, if there are hostiles approaching a pilot, and we know the location of that pilot, we have the ability to protect them and clear the ground, so to speak, so that they can be safely picked up. Also, here's something to keep in mind. You're going to see reports like this that, Trump's lying about air superiority. Air superiority happens when you dominate the air. Air superiority happens when your enemy does not have an air force to send up against you. It is possible to have air superiority over a given piece of land and still have planes get shot down. Air superiority does not mean nothing comes up from the ground to attack those airplanes, it means there are not other airplanes in the sky. So the Trump administration has not been lying when they said we achieved air superiority and now air supremacy, rather, over Iran.
Now, with respect to reactions, we are seeing the Iranian Speaker of Parliament, Mohammad Baghar Ghalibaf, a character and personality very influential these days, and his name is being repeated a lot. He says in a tweet on X, after defeating Iran 37 times in a row, this brilliant no-strategy war they started has now been downgraded from regime change to, hey, can anyone find out our pilots, please? So this is the first official reaction issue. Now, with respect to...
I'm sure they're gloating. And this is going to be used in the propaganda war designed to convince people that the United States should walk away from this and that this is a bad idea and that Iran, this country that has been terrorizing its neighbors, launching ballistic missiles at its neighbors, threatening the United States, threatening the entire world, that it should just be allowed to stand because the cost is too high, when the reality here is, even though this event has taken place, an enormous accomplishment is what encapsulates this entire Operation Epic Fury.
Yeah, Mugo, it's very significant. And I just want to sort of recap, because you said that maybe one pilot, because we got confirmation from U.S. officials tell us that F-15 fighter jet did come down over Iranian airspace. Mm-hmm. And that was search and rescue operations underway. And that's after Iranian TV said that an aircraft had crashed. There had been shot down and showed wreckage of that down jet. And the wreckage was found in central Iran. So what we're talking about here is that F-15 Strike Eagle can be a one-seater or two-seater variant. As we understand, it's the F-15E, which can be a two-member crew. A statement on Iranian television has urged residents to join the hunt for the pilot or pilots, offering a bounty for any U.S. service members found dead or alive. Man. There are reports again from the Iranians that there are heavy clashes underway between Iranian military and the U.S. search and rescue attempts. We have to point out these have to be conducted at low level in broad daylight. Black Hawk helicopters.
It's dangerous, man.
Aircraft within reach and at risk. So again, we're awaiting the details about the status of the pilot or pilots, but it calls into question when you talk about how significant this is. Claims from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and others that the United States and Israeli forces, remember, they're in this fight too, have achieved air superiority. In fact, we learned just a few moments ago, the governor of that southwest province says whoever captures or kills the crew of that downed jet will be commended by the government. And where this changes things significantly is because when the military sends fighter jets into a hostile environment, they target what's called standoff targets, meaning they target air defenses and launchers while staying out of reach. Mm-hmm. So achieving air superiority, it's a technical term, but that enables jet fighters to loiter, as the military puts it, to stay in the air for longer and get closer to these targets, and in some cases refuel.
But it doesn't mean there is not a guy hiding in a cave with a portable shoulder-launched missile that can be fired up. Doesn't mean there are no threats to these aircraft. It just means there are no air-to-air threats. Look right here.
Apparently you can go from 0 to a complete site in just a single prompt with Wix Harmony. I don't know if this is going to be possible or Vibe.
Google gets it right. A high degree of control over the airspace, that there are no air-to-air threats. So air superiority does not mean zero threats. It just means there are no other aircraft up there trying to shoot down the good guys. And that is very important to remember, because people are going to say Trump's lying. People are going to say Trump's putting people at risk and lying about our military, and that's not true.
So if it is a shoot down, not necessarily a crash, it suggests that the United States and Israelis have failed to dismember Iranian air defenses,
it doesn't.
Or decimate, obliterate, whichever term you want to use, or that the Iranians have been holding fire and keeping some of that their fire dry. Again, it's developing when it comes to the status of the pilot or pilots. All we know for certain is that what's called a combat search and rescue is underway.
And I want to ask about that, because you talk about search and rescue. Obviously, there's a lot going on.
Since aircraft were invented and used in warfare, there have been many times where air superiority was achieved over a battlefield. Think about World War II. There were times where no opposing aircraft could come up and attack U.S. bombers and P-51 Mustangs flying over their targets, but aircraft were still shot down. from flak, and from ground fire. Air superiority was achieved, but aircraft were still lost in combat. It's tragic, but this is what happens in any conflict. And again, the fact that it has only happened once in this operation reiterates how successful it is. But now the propaganda war's on.
Yes, you know, the United States military trains for exactly this sort of environment.
Yes.
It is very rare for U.S. aircraft to go down, a fighter jet to go down in a hostile environment
But it happens.
and to land in, quote, enemy territory. But these are U.S. Air Force pilots, pilots that would have been inside this F-15 fighter jets. But in addition to all of that, you also have these search and rescue teams that are either already in the air just in case something like this happens, or they get fired up right away. So there will be locators on exactly where this jet was hit, where the debris was rained down.
Yep.
They would have locators on themselves.
They
They'll
know
be
where it
armed,
is.
and they've been specifically trained and drilled to go after what might happen in an event like this.
Yep.
And that's where you scramble the Black Hawk helicopters and what's called the Combat Search and Rescue, CSAR, that is scrambled to fly at low levels because they have to. They have to get close to the ground to figure out and get eyes on where these pilots might be and where they might be found. I'm not entirely sure, but of the topography or geography of that area, because I don't know it that well, but it's going to be rugged. Probably it's going to be remote. The fact that the Iranians themselves, even on Iranian television, have sort of urged locals to go out on the hunt and find these pilots suggested it wasn't in a relatively populated.
You know what the good news is about that? If the Iranian leaders, the regime leaders that are still in power, that aren't the ones negotiating with the president to end this thing, if they're telling people, hey, go find these pilots, we'll give you a reward, what does that tell you? It tells you they don't have the manpower to go and find these pilots. They're hoping somebody turns them in. But these guys, they're not out there risking their own skin. They want their own people to go find them. That's another element of this that I hadn't thought of right away. But if they're asking for help, it means they don't have control of their own ground. It means they're scared to come out. They're worried about the A-10s. They're worried about the Apaches. It's a tough situation. We should all be praying for those pilots. What do you think? I'll see you in the next video.
Okay, so those were the big videos on that. I got 7 more short clips, about 5 minutes, maybe 10-minute ones. All the rest of them, remaining 7 or so. That one's too long. This one's 6 minutes. Colorado news.
No really surprise there, but it is serious questions as the race for Attorney General heats up. Here's your Mountain Minute for April 3rd. Let's jump in. A former senior aide to Secretary of State Jenna Griswold is now speaking out publicly to Rocky Mountain Voice, describing what he calls erratic leadership, blurred lines between political ambition and official duties, and a workplace culture that discouraged dissent. Reese Edwards, who served as the Director of Government and Public Affairs, says official state business was at times conducted on encrypted messaging apps designed to delete records, limiting transparency and public accountability. He also claims taxpayer-funded messaging was used in ways that elevated Griswold's personal profile, with concerns raised internally that public resources were being used for political purposes. Multiple former staffers, he says, share those concerns, but many are unwilling to go on the record due to fear of professional retaliation. With Griswold now running for Attorney General, Edwards says the stakes are too high to stay silent. Read the exclusive Rocky Mountain Voice interview at rockymountainvoice.com, or you can click the link in the show notes. That story ties directly into a broader debate over elections happening right now in Colorado. State officials are pushing back on a new federal election order that we talked about yesterday that would create a national voter eligibility list and place new limits on mail-in voting. Supporters argue the move would strengthen election integrity, while critics, including Colorado officials, say it oversteps constitutional authority and interferes with how states run their own elections. At the same time, a new commentary is raising a different question. Why are some states willing to share detailed voter data with third-party organizations, but resist sharing that same data with federal
Chico wants the
agencies
window.
tasked with verifying citizenship? The debate highlights a growing divide over transparency, privacy, and election security. Meanwhile, a federal judge has handed Colorado Republicans a significant legal victory. The court ruled that requiring 75% approval to opt out of the state's open primary system is unconstitutional, calling it a severe burden on a political party's right to association. The decision could now open the door for parties to regain more control over their own nomination processes, something conservatives have been long arguing about is necessary to protect party identity and voter intent. On the policy front, Colorado's Medicaid system is once again under scrutiny. A new commentary warns that proposed cuts could hit the state's most vulnerable residents, particularly those with severe disabilities, cutting support in half for some families who rely on the program for daily care. Critics argue the state is prioritizing other spending while core safety net programs face reductions. And Colorado's largest coal plant has been offline since a catastrophic failure in 2025, and repairs are now delayed again until at least August 26. Regulators warn that the prolonged outage could create serious challenges during peak summer demand, increasing the risk of shortages when electricity use is at its highest. And a new analysis warns that Denver's push for high-density housing is actually contributing to worsening air quality, loss of green space, and increased strain on infrastructure, everything from water usage to energy demand. And in wildlife policy, critics say decisions by Colorado Parks and Wildlife are increasingly being influenced by well-funded, out-of-state advocacy groups rather than local expertise or public input. The call now is for Coloradans to engage directly before those decisions are finalized. And finally, on the Colorado front, a broader look at federal policy suggests regulatory systems meant to protect the environment may now be slowing economic growth. A new commentary argues that decades of permitting requirements under laws like NEPA are driving up costs, delaying infrastructure projects, and even preventing development altogether. Now to the national headlines. The U.S. Supreme Court is signaling skepticism towards efforts to end birthright citizenship. During arguments this week, several justices noted that for more than a century, the Constitution has been interpreted to grant citizenship to anyone born on U.S. soil, regardless of their parent's status. That suggests any major change to that policy directly could face a major uphill legal battle. That's all for this week, you guys. As a reminder, as always,
Colorado news. Hey, we got a surprise visitor. Lily's in chat. Been a while we've seen her. Hey, we got some breaking news on the Mel page. Mel's saying it posted at 6 o'clock that emergency, the national security team is gathered at the White House, guys. That's Mel. I told her I've got about 6 more short ones, Kay. I got a Benny and then 4 other short ones. $11 minutes on bidding.
I voted in a Democrat Party primary. And because I did that one time in this one instance, that somehow allowed me magical powers to choose every single presidential candidate forever for all time for Democrats. You would say that's kind of silly. Why would I let the other side pick our candidate? Why would I let the other side, our enemies, control our future? That's retarded. And to that, I would say, yeah, it is. It's really stupid. You should have more loyalty than that. You should have proven loyalties. And therefore, that's why I'm not picking Kamala Harris and AOC to run every single time for the rest of time for the Democrat Party. Maybe I'd pick Hillary Clinton. Like, who would I pick? Yeah, I'd pick the worst possible conceivable candidate, right? I'd probably pick Ilhan Omar. Yeah, it's truly, if you're looking for someone who's like the most loathsome, intolerably loathsome person to run ever for any office, you'd pick like Ilhan. You'd have Ilhan Omar run for the Democrat Party nominee the whole time. That's who I'd pick for the rest of my life. Probably. It's so hateable. You'd probably win in 40 and 50 state landslides if you were to do that. But they don't let me do that because they're not stupid, but we are as a country. We let something called birthright citizenship happen, which is that if you're born in an American territory, you suddenly become an American. It's, of course, stupid. This is something that has been totally misinterpreted in order to manipulate the citizenry of the United States and the demographics of the United States to destroy us and to kill us. Suicidal. The Constitution is not a suicide pact. The original amendment that allowed for birthright citizenship was simply for the children of slaves. That was the way that it was intended. It was not intended to have the 9 billion people on Earth travel to a U.S. territory one time and all of them become Americans. Again, that's cultural suicide, and it's literally killing us. Like here, this news story. Chinese Americans accused of terrorism while anchor babies for illegal parents. Wow, would you look at that? Chinese terrorists. That's a slightly new one, but here we go. Would-be asylum seekers had 2 children in the U.S. after getting a removal order, and now those 2 children are trying to kill us. A man and a woman who entered the United States illegally 3 decades ago. How long has this been going on? How stupid are we? How stupid is our nation? 3 decades ago, how long has this con been going on? Now, China has been playing this con for a long time against us. Our idiot policies. Arrested by the Department of Homeland Security after their children brought an explosive device to a military base, Daily Wire can report. Qin Zhao and Jia Zhang illegally entered the United States in the 90s. They were detained and denied asylum, but they remained in the country for several decades because we're stupid and we don't even enforce these kind of things. The Daily Wire learned that they had 2 children that illegally resided in our country. Last week, the Department of Justice charged 27-year-old Anne Zhang, these are their children, with attempting to explode an IED at MacDill Air Force Base Visitor Center in Tampa, not too far from where we are recording this right now. She was arrested, returned as she returned to the United States from China, where authorities believe her brother still remains. DHS arrested the duo's parents on March 18th for illegal entry. They remain in ICE custody. They'd applied for asylum in 1993. Their application was denied. They're clearly terrorists sent here by the Communist Party of China. There you go. Goodness gracious. Jeez.
Four more after this one.
Can't tell. Terrifying. The arrests come as the Supreme Court mulls Donald Trump's executive order banning birthright citizenship, automatically granting citizenship to children of illegals. So they this just proves how crazy it is. So her parents come here illegally. Here's her parents. They come here illegally. They're denied asylum, which is actually kind of hard to do. You have to have such a weak case. You're denied asylum. Then you have kids. Those kids are paperwork Americans. They're not real Americans. They're just paperwork Americans. And then now they try and bomb us. The 2 U.S.-born children of these criminal Chinese communists were indicted for planting a deadly explosive device at MacDill Air Force Base. This incident underscores the severe national security threat that illegal immigrant birthright citizenship poses to the United States.
Zegrid releases immediately and blocks acid that causes heartburn for 24 hours. Feel the difference.
Wow. What a story. Should be the biggest story in the country.
The FBI indicting a brother and sister in connection with the placement of an explosive device at MacDill Air Force Base in Florida. The FBI says Alan Zhang, who is believed to have planted the device, is currently in China.
Oh.
The device did not detonate, but minutes after the device was planted, a 911 call reported that a bomb had been placed on the base. When that phone call came in, no location for that bomb was in fact given in that 911 call.
The device was found on the base 6 days later. Thankfully, no one was hurt. FBI Tampa also arresting the suspect's sister, and Mary Zhang, who is charged with accessory after.
Goodness gracious. Huge. DHS nabbed the duo's parents for illegal entry. They've been here since 1993. Two Chinese anchor babies just tried to bomb the United States. John Roberts would have you believe these terrorists are just as American as you and me. That's right. And Ketanji Brown Jackson would tell you that she's actually, that by murdering us, by trying to murder us, that makes them American. Just like it makes her Japanese when she pickpockets in Japan. She steals things in Japan. Incredible how instinct was there for Ketanji Brown Jackson. Their parents were ordered deported. They overstayed 28 years. And now their kids are paperwork Americans and terrorists. It's dangerous and stupid to grant automatic full citizenship to the children of illegals born. This is so timely, by the way. Birthright citizenship is a threat to our national security. Completely true. Yep. Amazing. So stupid. Insanity, says DHS. This attack attempted illustrates why improper recognition of birthright citizenship for children of illegal aliens is not only inconsistent with the Constitution, it endangers all Americans. Chinese anchor babies who wage war on behalf of China are just as American as George Washington. The Constitution says so. It's so stupid. 10% of U.S. births are all foreign anchor babies. Hours later than you think. That's right. Goodness. 2 birthright citizenship born to illegal immigrants in China bomb a U.S. Air Force base on American soil. By the way, it's where they run CENTCOM out of. And that's critical. That this is the command center for the war currently right now in Iran. Whoever they were subject to the jurisdiction thereof, it wasn't the United States of America. That's right. The U.S. has a uniquely insane immigration policies for quite some time. Sure, it's just a coincidence that so many of these attacks are from foreigners or foreign-aligned people who hate America. Goodness. Used ChatGPT to help him flee. Look at that. Exciting. Jonathan Turley torching birthright citizenship here. This is like a relatively mild legal scholar. It is becoming the world's laughing stock. And ship of fools, China mocking us with hundreds of companies that exist solely to arrange for Chinese citizenship to give
birth in the United States. It's done in the open, and it's making us into a laughing stock. But it also has robbed us of control over what it means to be a citizen in this country. The day is not over for the government. It's still possible that they could win, but this was not a promising oral argument in that sense. So we have to look at where we go from here.
America is a serious country. Serious countries don't reward illegal immigration. Automatic birthright citizenship for children of illegal migrants reward illegal immigration. Donald Trump was at the hearing, birthright citizenship here. And it's pretty obvious this is happening.
About 2 minutes.
Constantly. CBS News reported that Chinese parents traveling to the U.S. have anchor babies. They travel from China to Los Angeles so their baby could be born in America and have U.S. citizenship. And then they paid $27,000 to a Chinese agency with a website that advertises the advantage of giving birth in America. The agency helps arrange U.S. tourist visas, lodging, and medical care. They allow their parents. How much is, having a baby is incredibly and prohibitively expensive in America. How much of this are we funding? So like if 10% of the babies are born here, like are these people don't even like pay? They just like going through on Medicaid or through emergency care and giving birth. Oh, it's insane. It's insane. The Hilltop home was converted into a maternity hotel that housed as many as 30 pregnant Chinese women at a time. We're not a real country, dude. We're not a serious country. She admits to running a birth tourism scheme in California, helping more than 500 pregnant foreigners give birth. There's 500 people to cancel out your votes to get permanent welfare for life, to be able to come here anytime they want. U.S. territory turned it into a maternity ward that produced thousands of American babies. Yeah. Oh, man, it's so rotten. Gotta save our country from this evil. Birthright citizenship is evil, suicidal, civilizationally and culturally. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe.
Okay, another good one from Benny there. We've got our last 4 short ones. This one's actually 12 minutes, okay, about teacher thing.
Well, I'm actually processing today a little bit. This is the first time I've ever spoken in front of a committee. I've been in a few things where I've spoken.
Else I can get it.
Never certainly anything like this. And I kind of knew what I wanted to say when I got here. But after listening to a lot of these people today, I almost don't even know where to begin other than I hope it's becoming obvious that the family court system needs a lot of attention. It needs a lot more attention than just those 2 bills sitting right up there. And I think this truly is going to boil down to a simple question. Is the legislation going to listen to the lawyers that make a lot of money off of this?
11 minutes.
Or are they going to listen to the people that have been put through the ringer and lost a lot of money over this? One has a lot of money and funds a lot of things. One are the voters. I became an advocate in the family court world about 6 months ago because of the things I saw, and 2 of my boys are sitting right over here. They are victims of this family court system that these guys like so much. I listened to Kittredge say that well, first off, is it on the record who summoned Kittredge here? Has anybody addressed that as to how?
What do you guys think of this one?
Question like that.
I think the committee just asked for him his opinion since he is the Chief Justice.
Okay.
And administers the judicial system.
Okay. Well, I mainly just I was curious. Nobody had filled me in on that. I just find it interesting because can't that be a conflict of interest? I have a case running through the system right now. It's sitting in the appeals court. But if the appeals court doesn't go right, then I go to the Supreme Court. Could it not possibly hit his desk and his chambers, and then he feels like
I don't think this is. Yeah, that one's not very good. Four minutes.
On Pam Bondi being fired and Trump putting in his personal attorney,
This guy's
which will be
okay,
great
right?
and help. Something huge happened in Milwaukee, and ICE detained or arrested the biggest Islamist leader there. His name is Salah Sarsara. He's 53, and he was president of the Islamic Society of Milwaukee and the American Muslims for Palestine. And he's on an immigration hold, and he was transferred from there to Chicago, then Clayton County. He's now in Indiana. And the Muslim Legal Fund of America and most of the Texas radical imams, and there isn't anything other than radical, most of them have ties to jihad networks, are screaming that it was an unlawful abduction, and they're demanding his release. Well, he has documented Hamas ties going back to 1990. And the FBI knew that he spent 8 months in an Israeli jail over his Hamas ties. And he was one of the biggest fundraisers for a group called the Holy Land Foundation. And they were involved in the biggest terror financing case in American history. And this guy shoveled $10 million to them. And so the FBI has known about this guy for 30 years. He started businesses, a major business furniture, I guess, store he has, or he's run a lot of money through. But the FBI has known about this guy, and he still was allowed permanent status here. And even after that, he continued to fund all these things. And in Arkansas, the Islamist Center of Little Rock, along with other states who have Islamic schools, are sending their kids this summer to Texas to do a fake pilgrimage. And what that means is, in Texas, one of the Islamic schools has built a Kaaba, a replica of the Kaaba. So if anyone can't afford to actually fly to Mecca, they can fly to Texas, and these kids can go through the procedures of what they would go through there. And the House, including 81 Republicans, just voted to keep funding the National Endowment for Democracy. It's a big NGO. And it's basically a global censorship campaign. And it also promotes domestic propaganda. Trump wanted it gone, Elon wanted it gone, but nope, the Republicans can't come together, and they've supported this. And a federal judge has frozen everything that JFK Jr. has done, or RFK Jr. has done, as far as vaccines for the kids, changing it, putting a group together that can, analyze the results of the vaccines and that kind of business. A judge has frozen it all, saying he doesn't have the authority. Well, of course he does. And I was just going to say, be careful of everything that is around you. I was taking notes with these pens right here. These pens are from Value Village. Being a manager, I would put them in my pockets all the time and take them home. I happened to look, and on it says CARE, Washington. And if you don't know what CARE is, it's the Center for American Islamic Relations. I'm sitting here reporting on them, and I'm literally using their products. I was blown away. Watch what you're using.
How was that, guys? That one all right? I think I'm going to call it. Yeah. I think we've gone 3.5 hours, I think. But tomorrow will be 12 o'clock, the first show. And then she goes from there. Anything breaks in between, I'll be on. So everybody have a good weekend. If I don't see you over the weekend, I guess Kay, Lucy, and Tim is the only one who was in here tonight. Oh, Carol's probably at church. So everybody have a good Friday, and God bless everybody. The mom, or please like, and the new people, please go to this description box and sub to the backup channel. Thank you. Stay safe, stay strong, keep the faith, and never give up. Yep, you too, Maria, everybody. If I don't see you over the weekend, I'll be on. You guys, signing off, Chicken Dude.